And coming in live from the northwest angle inlet of the coast of Tiny or Minnesota, we are here with the final installment of 2020's NA Contender Season 3. I'm of course your host Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today I have El Cosechador que siempre yaga el helicóptero, Light_VIP. How we doing, Light?
What did you just call me?
I closed the Google Translate tab. I don't remember anymore.
What words do you put into Google Translate? Like, I don't... Okay. What's up, everyone? We're live. As Yaku said, this is the final day of NA Contender, and it's been a pretty rough season.
That it has.
Not just for the players.
Yeah. It's been a rough couple of broadcasts that we last had, Light. A lot of technical issues going on. Of course, Blizzard replays messing up that 1 week as well. It's a little bit rough, but now we're finally here, and we finally have what should be a fairly slick production coming into our final day. We're ending it off on a bang.
Yeah. Honestly, like, looking at the playoff bracket, obviously everyone needs to be updated since we only got to cast the first series. But just by looking at it, I was surprised that we were gonna get a Canadian in the finals.
Were you last surprised?
Yeah, obviously it's not the same as last season. Last season we had an all Canada finals, which was insane to say the least. But yeah, GotQuail doing his country proud.
That indeed he is. Going to make it out to the finals here, which does guarantee us, one, a Canada versus America finals. So that is, America's fighting back here. Going to have to show what they've got. And we're also confirmed for a TVZ finals.
Yeah, it's like the best matchup, honestly. Like, really so many people love it. We love it, yeah. As long as there isn't mech.
I feel like, yeah. I feel like even the people who don't have TVZ as their favorite matchup, they also sort of accept or understand why it's so popular. They're like, oh yeah, they still like it.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see which is the Terran who's going to face the Canadian in the finals. And obviously, I'm a little bit surprised that get used to it, folks.
I see Steele in the chat. He's gonna be. That's who we're appealing to right now.
Oh boy. But yeah, LastSurprise, you know, he was in the playoffs last season, so I'm pleasantly surprised that he's made it this far.
I believe we made mention of it last week as well. He was also the only player who either didn't promote or didn't get knocked out before the playoff stage. The only player who's going to be continuing to be in the playoff stage of this season's NA Contender.
Yeah, here season 3, like, it's been a lot more competitive. We had a lot more signups, a lot more people engaging, and as you said, there were a couple of the top players who, you know, they didn't get promoted, but their MMR went high enough where they aren't qualified for this anymore. So
I mean, that's a promotion in my eyes.
Yeah, same thing. But yeah, LastSurprise, he's one of the few who remain, and it's going to be on him for the season 2 boys.
Exactly. But gonna have to go off against Wonder, and I wonder how that'll go down. In a TVT.
I wonder what he has in store for us today.
Yeah. Let's jump into our first game. Like, before we go to before we say something that we'll regret pun-wise. That'll be too bad.
I'm already there. We're already there, yeah.
Before the puns get too bad.
Oh, God.
Alright, we're gonna be jumping in.
We are TVT. Gonna be on Ice and Chrome.
Now, luckily I have my my Ryung spacebar ready, so I feel like that should give me a little bit of an air of authority. Alright, well, we are going to be starting off here on Ice and Chrome. A good map to have a TBT on, you know, all the explosions and whatnot. They're going to be helping out. It keeps you warm and stuff. In the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we do in fact have a purple Terran player, man of culture here. It's a nice little color to have. Representing Alpha X, coming down all the way from the land of America. Can he pull off something predictable, or is he gonna leave us shocked? We have LastSurprise. I'll do better in the puns next time, Light.
I expect nothing. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ice and Chrome LE, we have the American Terran player representing himself as he is teamless. He is one of 7. He is Wonder.
How could
7,
he
right?
be one of 7 if he is one? Der.
Oh boy. There's only 2 series, but it's gonna be a long night.
Yeah, we saw that we had a walkover going in today, so we decided, yeah, no, let's make it seem longer. This wall is quite a wall. Yeah, this is a little bit of a risk that you're taking here when you decide to go for this kind of a wall off, and it's I understand why Wonder decided to go for this sort of wall off, right? So you don't have to float your barracks over, right? And you'll still be able to seal yourself in and prevent the scouting from coming off. But yeah, that's a little bit of the risk you take. You have to be very careful with where you place your racks.
Yeah, that wall from Wonder, is that intentional? Like,
yeah, it's intentional.
Okay, because
I've seen you thermal do it a lot in TBT.
Interesting. I guess it makes sense because in TVT, because of Reapers, like walls early on aren't anywhere near as important as the other matchups. So yeah, it makes sense. Like obviously it means the full wall off is a little bit delayed, but at the same time you don't really need it that early. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It does. Also, again, as I said, you get your add-on and don't have to worry about flying around. So you can also do that with having the depots at the side, but of course you run the risk of having your opponent just say, "Hey, you don't have an add-on. I'm gonna go on through."
Yeah. And I'm really curious to see how these guys play. Honestly, I can't quite recall, even if we've seen them in a TVT, whether they're more mechish players or bio. As so far this game, they're going for pretty similar openers.
Yeah, Reaper Hellion coming out from both players, except LastSurprise going for a bit more of a standard reacted Hellion with only a single Reaper right now, so going to be a little bit more. I mean, he's going to be more scout focused and rather than more aggressive focus, although we'll see how many Hellions he does get out. Wonder, on the other hand, pun intended, I wonder what the plan is with this Widowmine. Seems like he's just playing it out more defensively.
He looks incredible.
Not Hellions, sorry. Cyclones.
Yeah, he looks incredibly defensive with that Viking, with a Cyclone as well, like in case a Banshee or a Raven harass or anything like that, or a drop. Like he's playing this out very, very defensive. And I love what LastSurprise is doing. Like he's prioritizing concussive shells above everything else, and I love seeing these Marauder heavy compositions.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very dedicated Hellion push, Marauder push coming up from LastSurprise. I have to question the effectiveness of this. It's going to be very micro-intensive, right, for LastSurprise.
Yeah.
He's got to make sure that his concussive shell, he's really hitting those units that he needs to slow down.
Yeah, he's going to have to make sure.
Oh, the medevac's going top of the
Widowmine!
But it does boost away. The Widowmine will connect, but only with these Hellions for the time being. These Hellions are starting to go in, and this tank is looking to be in quite a lot of trouble. Marauders melted down. The Hellions, thankfully, not really getting too much economic damage, but yeah, that's about to change, or not quite. Okay. Only 4 SUVs. going down.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. I think it's really lucky that the Widowmine shot actually connected with all the Hellions, so they all were immediately lost like a third of their health. So it was a lot easier to deal with and clean up. But yeah, I'm not too sure who I favor now. Like, you know, a couple of worker kills. LastSurprise, he's ahead in that worker count. And he did manage to kill a tank, and, you know, shaving off that tank count is so important in this matchup.
Oh, it absolutely is. Especially early on, right? If your opponent doesn't have a tank, you as a Terran player can think, okay, I may have an opportunity now to just go in and try to contain my opponent. On a map like Ice and Chrome, that's less likely, just because of the rush distance. You know, your opponent's probably going to have some defenses out by the time you hit, right? But yeah, you know, you never want to be caught with your pants down, you know?
Yeah, I feel like killing that tank that early, it gives you options. Like, if you want, you can be more aggressive, and then, you know, their defensive position is a lot weaker, or you could just be more greedy, because if they went for a push, you know, they're down the tank, right? So it'll be, it won't be as strong.
Yeah, especially when you're going double Raven. I like to see a tankless composition that's on that's on about equal supply. I want to point that out. About equal supply in a tankless composition. Try to crack LastSurprise.
Yeah, definitely. So, no, LastSurprise, like, he does end up losing like 2 SCVs, but again, he still does just barely have that worker advantage. And yeah, with these 2 Ravens, I mean, to be fair, they both have 2 Ravens, and Ravens, we keep talking about it, they're so important in this matchup. They just allow for so much. Like, even if you have the lower tank count, you can just go in and just disable everything.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
And even if you don't use the interference matrix nowadays, it's not defense matrix. Yeah, I don't know why I used to keep calling it defense matrix, but yeah, even if you choose not to use those interference matrix, the auto turrets, they have quite a bit of beef to them now. Or I guess they always have, but nowadays you're seeing them more, so I guess it becomes more apparent. They're kind of like the spine crawlers of Terran in that sense. Obviously, a lot of differences there, but it can soak up quite a bit of damage from your opponent, draw their fire away whilst you focus on other things.
Especially against tanks, like we've often seen like pro Terrans like throw down a bunch of turrets just to soak up tank shots, or just surrounding siege tanks to take them out as well.
It's also a good way, as I found out, it's a good way to try to secure a flank or a sandwich when your opponent's trying to retreat. Ravens are so fast. Yeah, Ravens they're pretty good, and we'll see how they come into play. You know, both players have a decent amount. I love how LastSurprise. I mean, to be fair, both players are working on their Viking counts. When it comes to this big engagement, a lot of it may come down to who snipes the other Ravens first before any spells get used. So, you know, that's going to be really important as well. Yeah, that's how a lot of it can definitely go. That's why the aerial superiority is going to be, in general in TVT, it's very important, but especially when you throw Ravens into the mix, you've got to keep them alive. They are the absolute game changer.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, Wonder, he does have that edge, I think, in Raven count. So, you know, we may see that come into play, as he does have 3, whereas LastSurprise, I think he stopped at 2. So yeah, maybe he can also afford to be a little bit more sloppy. Like, if he loses 1 Raven, it's not as a big a deal. No,
that he definitely can. This is where you get into a bit of those philosophical debates about TVT, don't you? Because there's definitely a bit of contention towards what the optimal amount of Ravens you want is. 2 Ravens is usually, you know, considered to be the sweet spot, because when you go into 3 Ravens, you have more options to use your interference matrix, right? You have more turrets and whatnot. But you could also argue that because they cost, I believe it was 4 to 6 supply, something like that, they start cutting into things like your Viking count, like your medevac count. You know, 3 Ravens is good, but what are those Ravens going to do if they're just going to get sniped by Vikings?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it comes down to, and we'll see. As I don't think either player sees each other. And oh god, Wonder.
Yeah, LastSurprise does know where Wonder is now. He's not going to be surprised. Oh no, the Ravens are going forward into these Vikings, like, and one of them already goes down. The other one uses a lot of energy, and now you can sort of see how much of those. How good those turrets can be to really draw fire away from the tanks. That being said, these tanks are still alive, so yeah, they're going to be threatening LastSurprise a little bit, But there's not a lot that Wonder can really do to, you know, try to go in and really crack LastSurprise.
Yeah, and LastSurprise, he did have the higher Viking count, so he just dove in, snipes one of the Ravens already, and yeah, Wonder, he doesn't really have too much here protecting his tanks.
No, he does not. He is about to get the air superiority, but now LastSurprise is coming in with his reinforcements. This is how good Defender's Advantage can really be in just about any matchup. Not quite enough energy to get that double, or to get the most amount of interference matrices. But there comes a point where, yeah, LastSurprise doesn't care. He's just going to make use of his air advantage and just inch his tanks forward.
And nothing's stopping him even for, if he wanted to, he could just land his Vikings on top, and he's going for a drop instead. There we go, and all these tanks.
I love seeing these light. Yeah, and Wonder is trying to use these turrets as a way to soak up damage, and it's actually doing a lot. Yeah, I was expecting quite a bit of friendly fire actually coming in from Wonder's tanks just because of where those Marines landed. But yeah, you can absolutely see this is why turrets are so valuable. And why a lot of the time you actually see Terran players opt not to go for their interference matrix, right? Just go straight for the turrets, because interference matrix, that costs quite a lot of energy. And it's also kind of a niche spell.
Yeah, and I love this spotter depot. It does give LastSurprise the heads up of where the army is. He already moves his army to respond to this, and wow.
Anti-armor missile. There is a high ground advantage, but unfortunately LastSurprise got a little bit too caught up in fighting the bio. Techs were able to clean out his Marines. But again, did get one tank, did just about crush the armies that Wonder is throwing his way. If you look at the units lost tab, actually, yeah, Wonder has actually lost quite a bit of gas to this.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I don't think LastSurprise has lost a single tank. Meanwhile, Wonder, I think he's lost 5 or 6 this game, like 7.
Yeah, you're right there. LastSurprise has been losing a lot more Marines, but I mean, 50 mineral units coming out, and plus mules can mine minerals. They can't really mine gas.
Yeah, like it's negligible to lose Marines, and in this situation, Wonder, he just keeps trading all of these high gas units to the point where now he only has 1. To be fair, like if he does catch this army on siege, then maybe Wonder can take a fight, but at the moment he just can't really engage this army.
I do like this from Wonder though, that he is on top of already going to be getting his 3-3, whereas LastSurprise is just going to be finished up 2-2. He's already thinking about his late game. He's going into Liberators now. I'm not convinced that he really has the air advantage that he needs to go into Liberators, but you know, it's good to sort of think forward that way.
Yeah, and something important to note is LastSurprise, he has a lot of medevacs with this. He could be trying to go for like a big Doom drop into the main base.
Yeah, that is always a possibility. We do see a lot of turrets. Jesus, this is a lot of turrets.
Yeah, okay, he scans, he sees all the turrets. He's like, oh god.
Yeah, that's pretty nicely done. Meanwhile, Wonder going for a Doom drop of his own, sees that there aren't quite as many turrets in this main base. All of the infrastructure here for LastSurprise is in so much trouble. Marines are here, and they should be able to clear this out eventually. But yeah, when you already have a tank established like this, the choke point here that LastSurprise is kind of fighting in, not the most efficient.
Yeah, it does get cleaned up, but I do like that Wonder, you know, he did find an opportunity. He pulled the army back, you know, he forced LastSurprise to give him a little bit of breathing room, and now we see Wonder pushing out with his main army, and there's only a single tank here.
Yeah, I love this coming out from Wonder. He knows that he is just so turtled up in his main base, and, you know, his third base, a little bit, okay, now here come the Liberators and the tanks, so this helps out a ton. And interference matrix goes on one of these tanks, but there's still another in the back, and look at that. Once these Marines are cleared out, these tanks are in a lot of trouble. There are 2 Vikings in the air, but they are starting to get cleared out here. Very good hold here from Wonder, and meanwhile, the third base of LastSurprise already taken out. Wonder is pushing into the heart of LastSurprise's infrastructure.
Yeah, and just like that, those Liberators were the saving grace for Wonder, sorry. Like, they just did so much damage since there just wasn't enough anti-air there for LastSurprise, and now where's his army? Like, he lost it across the map, and oh, Jesus Christ.
And this is the other thing about GG's called. Wonder takes game number 1, and real quick, I want to say the other thing about that hold light is we were mentioning 2 things. The first one being that Wonder didn't really have much of an air army there, right? But there's the other thing that we mentioned, that Marines are kind of negligible. Towards the end of that game, you could see Wonder sort of sacking his Marines to deal with those Vikings that were in the air, And once those were taken care of, those Liberators had free reign. There was nothing on the ground other than the tanks for LastSurprise. And guess what? Tanks can't shoot up.
That they cannot. And honestly, like looking especially at that last engagement, I do definitely think that LastSurprise, he invested a little bit too much in those medevacs. Like he stopped Viking production completely. He went fully into medevacs, and you could see like when he positioned his army, I think he really did want to go for a doom drop, but that was completely like denied essentially, and then he opted not to go for that. And his marine count wasn't really there, so it didn't really constitute the need for all those medevacs. So because of that, like the Liberators just reigned supreme for Wonder.
Yeah, I am nodding along here.
But yeah, like,
yep.
Gee, I'm just really impressed by how Wonder played that out, because again, like he kept trading inefficiently, like, but at the end of the day, I guess he had the better army composition, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about TVT that to me makes it, or rather can make it so exciting to watch, is that it's, well, okay, to be fair, each mirror matchup has this to an extent, right? But in TVT, the favor can really just swing at a drop of a hat there, because it's so positioning dependent. And I suppose that, the same can be said about, PvP, right? If you don't scout something, or in ZBZ, if you misclick in a Lingbane Wars, but that doesn't really last for as long, I would say, compared to these sort of tank battles.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I think what I'm excited about is that both players, they both looked good in this game. Like they both had their strengths and weaknesses. So it doesn't really seem like one really has an edge over the other. So yeah, I'm just curious to see how this series plays out.
Exactly. We're gonna go into game number 2, and just based on the map, it could be a bit of a different game.
Yeah, it is a bit of a shorter map, a shorter rush distance. Isynchrone being a little bit more of a macro map, and we'll see if that means anything. If that means, some of these players are going to go for a different play style, a different army composition. We'll see. And
speaking of looking to see, we are gonna see what's gonna be coming in for us on Everdream LE ideally Edle. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We do in fact have a purple Terran player coming out all the way from the land of America. He is going to be representing Alpha X here, and we're going to see if he can show us something a little unexpected here, or would we have to wait for the ace match for that, because we do have LastSurprise.
You really wanted to work that wordplay in there, didn't you? God damn it. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the American Terran player representing himself. He is Wonder.
I wonder what that clan tag is.
Yeah, yeah.
Weak.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. Not too sure. And ooh, I like this little mind game that Wonder's doing. I'm not too sure if LastSurprise has he gone for an SCV scout? Did he go
has
for one
not, but he did go for the SCV scout last game, which I think we did make note of. This game, however, LastSurprise is not doing that same thing, which I feel might be a little bit map dependent, but yeah, could also we'll have to see what build our players decide to go for, and I think I know what this is, Light.
Oh boy. What let us know. Let us in, Yaku.
This is the only build I know how to do in TVT. Welcome to the Chinese build, popularized by Coffee himself.
Oh boy, so we'll see if he's able to execute it. We'll see what Wonder plans to do, because again, like he did opt to go for this little mind game in case there was a scout, the Rax is missing, but really it's right there, it's a natural.
He's also mining a bit less gas, it seems. Okay, now they're about even on the gas counts, but yeah, Wonder seems to be going for a little bit of a variation of this sort of build.
Yeah, Wonder opting to go for a faster CC.
Like, this is exactly what I try to do in TBT.
And LastSurprise going for that starport, as I imagine we're going to be seeing a Liberator push to support this.
Yeah. You want to see a Liberator come out? Oh, I did not notice this Marine first coming out from LastSurprise, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I guess either that's a misclick or LastSurprise is going for a bit of a safety anti-air unit very early on.
We'll see, as we do have Wonder here looking to try and get some damage done, and...
Yep, already takes out one of these Reapers, which is not something that should happen when you have the Hellion advantage, and oh no, you left him alive, LastSurprise!
Yeah, he opted not to go for the chase, and already losing one Reaper.
Exactly. Now, ideally, when you go for these sort of openings, like, you don't want to lose either the Hellion or the Reaper, but if I had to pick one, I would rather lose the Hellions, if I'm being honest. Because Reapers, they can jump up and down these cliffs, you know, they have KD8 charge, they have a lot more utility than the Hellions, and typically, in this sort of early game, it's just two Hellions are usually enough to one-shot, to either one-shot what your opponent will have, or to bring them low enough that a Reaper will deal the job. Once again, this Widowmine, the real MVP, takes out another one of these Hellions, and yeah, look at this concave coming up, and already we have a Cyclone out for Wonder. This entire push has just been shut down.
Yeah, Wonder, he actually did the same opener as game number 1, where he went for a Widowmine first, then a Cyclone as well. So just playing this out incredibly safe, and it pays off.
Yeah, and you can really see what a difference the map makes, like, here. On Ice and Chrome, you see Wonder trying to poke around with just his Reaper and his Hellion. Now he knows, okay, it's a short rush distance, you've invested so much in that, I'm going across the map, and look at this, not even a wall up here for LastSurprise. This tank is not... chances do not look good for this tank. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, especially if the Cyclone gets a lock on. The Raven as well is a little bit exposed.
But the Cyclone actually locks on an SCV.
Yeah, it does look like LastSurprise is able to hold with that auto turret as well. So it was looking pretty bad there for LastSurprise, but yeah, he manages to defend at home.
Indeed, it does.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit concerned for LastSurprise, as he is down 10 workers. Wonder did go for an earlier CC. Like, LastSurprise, he went for this push looking to deal more damage than he did, to say the least. And
absolutely.
Coming out,
you're really committed when you go for an opening like that. So you know that if you even just trade even, you're gonna still be playing from playing from a disadvantageous position. What's up with my words?
yeah, and oh my god, the third CC gets delayed as well.
Yeah, but we do see a third CC fairly quickly coming up from LastSurprise.
Is he gonna send another SV? He hasn't sent another SV.
No, he has not yet. So yeah, I was gonna say LastSurprise gonna be looking to play catch up here, and with a third CC, it's definitely something that helps out. But he does need to finish it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the LastSurprise has actually started it faster than Wonder, so he was gonna be ahead when it comes to, you know, these bases, and hopefully use that to catch up. But now Wonder, like, he's bought enough time, his own CC is finished, he's turning it into an orbital. LastSurprise still hasn't noticed. And
Wonder is looking to get even more ahead here, pushing out with his tanks, with his Cyclones, with double Raven, both of which having about, let me math real quick, 5 auto turrets and 3 interference matrices behind them.
Yeah, nicely done. LastSurprise, he does send out a Scatter Marine. He does spot the army, so he's aware that this push out is coming, but what is he gonna do? He's, you know, decently set up with tanks. He does have 2 Ravens as well.
But look at this. Wonder is not looking to go into the natural. He's just looking to take out as much infrastructure as he can, and with these Ravens, he does have high ground vision. These tanks covering a surprising amount of buildings.
Oh, is he gonna get stim? He's trying to focus it out. He gets stim.
He does, in fact, get stim, and now LastSurprise. You can really see the snowball effect happening right now. Vikings are going to be able to pick off this Raven. One of these tanks are disabled, and thankfully it was a tank that was pretty close and was in range of these other tanks of LastSurprise. But yeah, this is, to say the least, not looking too good. Is the starport going to go down? It does go down. And now Wonder, he kept his Ravens alive. He's just waiting for auto turret to have enough energy for auto turrets.
Yeah, auto turrets would just completely wipe out these tanks.
Does he even need it?
Oh god.
Lands the Vikings, and there are a couple of tanks that are in range, but yeah, LastSurprise, he's just losing more and more as time goes on. GG's called. Wonder very quickly secures this match point.
Jesus Christ, yeah. It's so hard to talk about, but like as we were saying, LastSurprise, he went for a push that was meant to deal damage. It dealt 0 damage. He killed like some Reapers and some Hellions, like a handful, like a couple, and just the push was completely shut down. He was behind on economy. The harassment was on point as well, like delaying that CC, getting on top of the production as well. Oh my god, just nothing really went right there for LastSurprise.
Nodding along here, and that's the thing about TVT, right? It can go one of two ways. Either you can have an insane back and forth where, you know, one player gives up their advantage at just the flip of a switch and whatnot. Other ways, you know, you just sort of snowball.
Yeah,
especially if you get the advantage so early on.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, like looking at the next map, I want to say that this is definitely one that LastSurprise can maybe, you know, start a comeback on.
Yeah, there are pretty good positions to put tanks on. It's definitely a map that really rewards good positional play.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the main reasons is that because I feel like this is a little bit more akin to Ice and Chrome. And again, Ice and Chrome was one where I feel like LastSurprise, you know, he was able to... Yeah, he was able to showcase his skill a little bit more. And maybe he can do the same here as we are loading in on Eternal Empire.
Oh, the chills coming down. And speaking of chills, here we are now. We're gonna be spawning in onto Eternal Empire. L-E-E-L-E-Ile. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner of the map. We do in fact have a Terran player. God damn it, I still have pairs in my head. The Terran player coming out all the way from the land of not Melbourne, America. He is going to be representing Alpha X. That's A for America, A for Alpha X. The symbol kind of looks like an A if you really squint, doesn't it? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it does actually, a little bit. If you like put it side by side, you have a couple of matches. The Purple Terran, we have doing the unexpected, LastSurprise. I almost didn't sneak that in there.
How many times did you say Purple Terran? And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the green Terran player, also representing the United States of America and nothing else, as he is teamless. He is a wonder.
Oh yeah, that's actually that Carbon Jim Raynor kind of plays into the name a little bit, kind of.
Does it?
Because he's like, you know, floating around and just wondering, you know, what he'll see, what he'll find.
His mind is full of wonder.
Exactly.
Exactly. And so we do already see a bit of a difference here. LastSurprise, he is opting to go for a faster natural, which again, like I like this a little bit more. You know, he's going for more economic. He's looking to try and get into that mid game a little bit more established.
Yeah, straight up a Reaper expand, which can be a bit of a risk that you're taking in a TVT, especially when you aren't scouting your opponent. But I feel like on a map like Eternal Empire, it's a bit more negligible, right? Because, yeah, by the time... Yeah, look at that. LastSurprise already swapping the add-ons. Gonna be getting a couple of Hellions out. Should be safe.
Yeah, and Yeah, and I'm glad he's doing this because Wonder, he's doing the exact same thing. Like, he's getting a Widowmine out defensively. I imagine he's probably going to get a Cyclone as well.
Oh,
maybe
he's
you know.
actually... Yeah, he's actually pushing out a lot sooner than the previous 2 games.
Yeah, going to be pushing out with 1 Hellion and 2 Reapers. You know, last time he was able to trade pretty efficiently. This time with
for LastSurprise to go into him.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll see if this can really make a difference. 1 Reaper already taken out. And Hellions are starting to get targeted down. One of them already down, and Wonder kept most of his units alive. It's just 1 Hellion facing 2 Hellions and 2 Reapers, and a very nice split here, making sure that his Reapers do not get caught in single volley. And our reinforcements, and does clear it out, but
yeah.
Actually, yeah.
And, that was looking pretty, pretty dicey there for LastSurprise for a moment. And yeah, Wonder did a similar thing last game, right? Like, he came in with, I think it was like less units, right? And he ended up trading better, sniping off a Reaper on Everdream. Yeah. But yeah, this time, you know, LastSurprise, he holds, he doesn't take any economic damage or anything like that. So again, I do think he's okay.
That he should be, but yeah, we'll see how his opening goes. He is opting for that same concussive Hellion build that he went for game number 1. Going out with a little bit less Hellions, although, again, he did also lose one earlier on, so can't follow me too much there. Wonder this time, the bunker on top of the Widowmine. This could start getting dicey, even as a Viking out here for a bit of a reliable anti-air.
Yeah, and I love that. LastSurprise, instead he does sacrifice a Hellion for that Widowmine shot. He doesn't end up getting like hit. All of his units don't get hit this time, and even takes out a Cyclone. Yeah,
that's a pretty decent trait there. But I have to wonder if LastSurprise was planning to get more damage done. Not a single SCV has gone down so far from the side of Wonder.
Yeah, it's interesting how this played out. LastSurprise, this is the same thing he did in game number 1. Wonder is similar, but he did make a couple of adjustments. You know, he went for that bunker instead, which meant that those Marauders weren't as effective as they could have been. Like, if there was a tank there, then maybe it would have been pounced upon, and things would have looked a little bit worse for Wonder.
That he does. And now, oh, look at this Viking light.
Is he going in for a land?
Would be proud. And it's following it.
Oh god.
It's landing right on the edge. Oh, not even landing behind the mineral line.
Waddling in.
And it does, in fact, take only 3 shots from the Viking to take out the SCVs. Quick little pull coming out from LastSurprise. But can he get this 3rd CC? And we did see in the past, LastSurprise, unfortunately, not quite on top of rebuilding. But this time he does.
This time he does. Oh, but the Viking is going back in, and the tank left, so... Oh, there is a single Marine, but I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Yeah, what's that going to do against a Viking? Die, I suppose.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, at least the 3rd CC did finish up, you know, the Viking didn't deny it a second time, and this time LastSurprise has enough to push it away. But yeah, Wonder doing a good job, you know, being annoying with his Viking, and keeps it alive so, you know, he can repair it and use it later.
Nodding along. It's also, you don't want to be losing your Vikings this early on, do you, Light? You want to be, because every unit in the air definitely counts.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Wonder, he is looking to push out once again. This time, the infrastructure isn't as exposed as last time, if, you know, he did siege up outside at the 3rd base location, but LastSurprise, yeah, he's set up pretty nicely defensively.
It's a bit of a trade-off, yeah, because this location is not quite as concrete, I would say, as, you know, as it was on Everdream.
Oh god, he's not sieged up.
He is prepared. He's in position, but not quite sieged up. All of the auto turrets starting to be thrown down, and they're actually trading against each other. And yeah, a lot of Marines sticking out right now for LastSurprise. Basically all of them. There's just one tank up here that's on the ground and already taken out by these tanks of Wonder.
Yeah, and the SCV is going to get taken out with Marines as well. I imagine he's going to force a lift up. Oh, there is an auto turret, which helps.
Yeah, but it'll focus on the Raven. And auto turrets, they actually don't do that much damage against tanks.
Yeah, and it looks like now there's only one tank. LastSurprise, he may be able to clean this up with reinforcements, but oh my god, Marines, they run across the map. They're here as well.
Oh my lord, like, I did not think that that Tank of Wonder was gonna go down, but it did survive. Just one more shot that LastSurprise's tank did. And yet he's, it hasn't held for the time being at any rate. LastSurprise has held. And it's not too much damage that has been done. But losing that many tanks, it can start to stack up as time goes on.
Yeah, I think they traded fairly evenly when it comes to army, but the big issue is that LastSurprise, he did lose a lot of SCVs there, and we do see Wonder with that SCV advantage. And since they're at equal CCs, like it's gonna take quite a bit for LastSurprise to catch up.
That it will. And Wonder, he's not done. He's already planning about his second move out.
Yeah, he's planning for a second move out. He's already got a 4th CC on the way as well. So Wonder, he's already looking to expand and continue to increase his economy. You know, his production is ramping up as well. Now Wonder, LastSurprise, I feel like it's on him now to try and do something to get back into this. But at the same time, TVT is a bit strange where, you know, maybe trying to defend the next push is probably better to try and you know, trade more efficiently there.
Oh yeah, if you can wipe out your opponent's army just by having a really good defensive position, you have so much time available to you to counterattack.
Yeah.
But you do have to trade efficiently, which is the big if of the strategy. Yeah,
definitely. It looks like LastSurprise, I think he did send out a drop, and this Raven, goddamn.
It's getting so much more damage, and this is, you can really start to see why having a couple of Vikings early on can really help out, prevent so much harass, or it shuts down so much harass, and even this one Marine coming in, it's just gonna finish the job.
Yeah, it just comes in, and the reaction just isn't quite there for LastSurprise. The Marine is able to deal a little bit more damage, does eventually get dealt with. I think the Raven is still alive as well. So, yeah, Wonder, he's applying a lot of pressure, but at the same time, LastSurprise, you know, he's been on point with his macro. He's caught up on workers. His army isn't too far behind either, so... yeah, again, like, this isn't, like, the advantage for Wonder isn't too insurmountable.
Yeah, it really is not. But these upgrades are going to finish up for Wonder here, Light.
Yeah.
And is he going to start moving out?
Yeah, that's the big thing. Like, LastSurprise, he scans, he sees the 4th base, so he knows that he's down a base currently. But, you know, he's taking his zone at the same time, so he's not too far behind. So, yeah, like, again, I was talking about it, like, on Eternal Empire, on a larger macro map like this, like, we could be in for a longer one here.
Yeah, we definitely could. And is it going to be a long game where we see a lot of drops of back and forth, or is it going to be the types of TVT where both players are like, okay, please, I don't want to move from my defensive position, guys. Let's, you know, if you want to come here, I'll welcome you.
Yeah, I mean, LastSurprise, he has a good Bioforce, but he has to be a little bit careful. He's behind on upgrades right now. Wonder, he already has 2-2. LastSurprise, he's still working on 2-2, so he's down. Oh god.
Oh, this is such a good place to put a tank on, and does take out a decent chunk of these Marines. A lot of bios still well alive for LastSurprise, but argue, is he overstimming a little bit too much?
He could be, and he has to be so careful. Like, Wonder is looking so good defensively because of those sensor towers. Like, he sees the army he just has eyes on it all the time, and because of that, he can reposition, he can move around, and
yeah, he's not committing to having too many tanks sieged up in one location or two. So very quickly, he's just able to, you know, move back and forth and re-siege his tanks.
Yeah, and oh my god, because of all those missile turrets as well, like, it's so difficult to go for a doom drop. If anything, he wants that to happen so the missile turrets can just go to town. You know, but there are some vulnerable locations. It looks like there aren't too many at the main base, so maybe a drop there could work.
Yeah, and we do see that a lot of the Marines and Vikings aren't quite in position to hold a drop there. But that's because Wonder is starting to push out. Jesus, yeah. 6 Vikings versus 1.
Jesus
Talk about
Christ.
their advantage.
Yeah, like, they're both maxed out, but at the same time, I do want to give, like, the composition again to Wonder. Yeah,
and to me, a lot of that just does have to do with the fact that LastSurprise has 90 workers, compared to Wonder 68.
Yeah, he's
Wonder
hashtag
has a
playing like Team
much
Rocket now.
bigger arm, yeah.
They're missing each other.
That they are, and I think we're about to be going into a base trade. You do not want to turn around when your opponent, you know, when they're able to establish themselves in the siege position. But LastSurprise is going to be turning around. He knows that he's going to have to defend this. He knows that he's not going to be able to win a base trade, but now he's in an even more vulnerable position. Look at all this anti-armor being thrown down light, and this is a choke point. These tanks are going to town in the bio, already wiped out. And Wonder, he's just stimming onto the tanks of LastSurprise. I think this is going to be LastSurprise's last stand. GG.
Jesus Christ. And just like that, I think... I think we just saw 60, 70 supply plummet in a matter of seconds. Like, that was...
If only we could go into the what's it called? The match history.
Yeah,
and just look at the graph.
That was brutal, to say the least.
Indeed, it was. Oh boy.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
Look at that. Already updating the bracket.
Yep. I've updated the bracket, and again, like Wonder, he played that out really well. LastSurprise, I do want to give him props. Like, he did come back in that game, but like you pointed it out, right? Like he had 90 workers to Wonder's like 60-ish. So yeah, a lot of the supply wasn't really where he needed it to be. It wasn't just that, to be fair. Even if they had equal supplies, like that position that Wonder had on top of the anti-armor missile, like that was, oh god, that was just a meat grinder.
It really was. Honestly, I feel like the throwing down the anti-armor there, just because of how many tanks there were from LastSurprise, kind of resulted in some overkill.
yeah, and like you called it as well, right? Like they spotted each other so late that turning around when LastSurprise was already halfway across the map probably wasn't the best idea. Maybe he wasn't confident in trading, but at the same time, like that was Wonder's entire army, and because he was ahead, because he had so many more SCVs, like he could afford to lose the natural. I mean, losing the main is a different.
To lose his main, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's.
He also realized that if it did go to a base trade, it's one Viking versus 6.
yeah, it would have been a completely different game. It's hard to call, right? Because like if he committed to it, maybe he would have lifted up, like you can lift up your buildings, you can send them over, you can it would have been a completely different situation. But at the same time, like I would have still given Wonder the advantage.
Oh, definitely. Sally's now making it to the finals, and I forgot to set up casting tools, so it's a good thing we didn't commit to going in quite yet.
Yeah, and here we go. Shout out to Yoda Slim in the chat. What are you doing awake right now?
Watching NA. It's NA Contender, Light. He's gotta watch it.
Oh god.
Hail to you. Now is that a thing?
Just answering Yoda Slim. We have the Korean that's Yaku's thing. That's Yaku's thing.
You can use it.
We just need our own sound bites, but
we do.
Yeah.
We need to make a soundboard.
I don't know if you want that, because if we did it, I don't know if we'd need you in the cast anymore. We just have a Yaku soundboard. It would work as well, because
it would.
We would have a button. We would have a button for race, and we'd have a button for color. So then in the intro, we would just spam that a couple of times. And that's the Yaku intro.
Yeah, we'd have a button for what map we're on, which site we're spawning. Yep. Right on it, Keetle.
I wonder if we could get away with.
Then I could just like lean back and collect the royalties.
I wonder if we could get away with doing a Yaku intro from a soundboard without people noticing. Is that?
Figure it out. Alrighty then. Casting tool has been all the way set up, and we're now going into our finals. It will be a best of 7. Terran versus Zerg, America versus Canada. Who's gonna win it? Hail to You versus All Inspiration. Who is gonna take it?
Oh, interesting. And did he switch clans? Clan tags in between?
Possibly. I'm trying to search Wikipedia for if they have a logo or not. Apparently not, so. Alright, let's get into it.
Yep, ZVT. This is the grand finals of NA Contender Season 3. Canada versus America. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Really not. And I believe this is the first time that we do have a Canada versus America finals.
Yeah.
Last season was, of course, the first time we had a Canadian in the finals. Not just that, but a all Canada finals. And then, of course, you know, before that it was all US versus US. But now, here we have it, spawning in onto Eternal Empire, L-E-E-L-E-Ile. We're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. Hi. Do apologize for that. We have a green Terran coming out all the way from the land of America, representing Hail to You. We have Wanda.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing All Inspiration. It is GotQuail. Oh boy.
No comment.
I'm looking forward to this. You know, we were talking about it. TVZ, it's what you want, especially in a grand finals. And yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say I'm curious to see, you know, how Wonder plays this out, because he went pretty tank heavy, you know, in his TVTs. Are we gonna see more of that?
Oh, I guess it would depend on a map like Eternal Empire. I would say probably. Right, because I think one of the more popular... Actually, I'm not sure how popular it is, but definitely something that you see every now and then, popularized a bit by TY, is that style of TVZ where you have a massive tank line right in the middle of the map when you go into that sort of split the map scenario and try to get your Zerg opponent to run into that. And a map like Eternal Empire, that facilitates that playstyle so well.
Yeah, definitely. We talk about it, and we've seen a lot of long macro games on this map. We've seen a lot of split map scenarios. We could see that here, we could not. I mean, so far, neither player has gone for anything too crazy. I will say that I'm curious to see Quail, you know, if he manages to get his third up at you know, a reasonable time, as it should be on the way pretty soon. But so far, nothing quite there yet, as Wonder is being a little bit annoying with his Reaper.
Yeah, just poking back and forth here. Try to see what he can get done. See that there's no third base as of yet. Might start to ring a couple of alarm bells, but yeah, he sees that. He sees the Queen moving out towards here. Yeah, he should have an inkling that that GotQuail's gonna go for it.
Yeah,
the third base, I mean.
It's really delayed. He's actually getting more queens instead. Yeah, instead of going for that third base, and he's droning up more, like he isn't saving up for it. So I'm really curious to see what he does, because there it is. It's an incredibly fast lair.
Well,
oh, but it's gonna get flooded.
And Wonder does go in at just the right time, sees the lair morphin.
Yeah, and with that, like, even if he loses the Reaper, it's well worth it. It does go down, but he knows that a lair is on the way. And now the real question is, how many gases are going to get taken? Is this 2-base Spire, or is this a big Roach push? Could even be Nidus.
Yeah, I feel like Nidus would probably be the most likely on 2 bases in the ZBT. But yeah, I feel like a Roach push, you know, the Roach Worm would be down by now.
Oh, he's taking all 4 gases.
Yeah, he is. Okay, this complicates things a little bit then.
I think
not really. It actually simplifies things. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see a Spire because, as you were saying, like a Roach Warren would have gone down by now. Oh well. Okay, he's throwing down a Roach Warren. Is that a fake? It is.
It is.
There
it is.
There it is.
There's a Spire right on the edge. Wonder could get bamboozled here. We don't see any engineering base going down, but he is producing a battle cruiser, and those trade decently well versus Mutas.
Yeah, definitely, especially when there's a low count of Mutas as well. So Wonder he has to be very careful with this. He does have a couple of queens, but not too many, and I don't think Quail has he gone in for a scout yet.
No, he has. Now he has with this Overseer.
Okay.
Does see something researching and does see the fusion core, but now he sees that the research has been cancelled. Either that or he thinks that it might be finished. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious as well because honestly that was really smartly done by Wonder because it does throw out this uncertainty. But in the end, Quail, I think he did see the fusion core anyway, so it's yeah.
Well, maybe he's thinking it's gonna be Lib Ghost.
Yeah, it could be getting that ranged lib. You're not wrong there. It's definitely possible. He did see the fusion core upgrading, I think. So researching even. Yeah, regardless, like Wonder, like he was great with his initial Reaper scout. He noticed that the third base was incredibly late. Like I was waiting for whatever Quail was going to throw down, and he spotted the lair. He hasn't quite seen the Spire yet, so he isn't 100% sure of what it could be. But either way, like it looks like he's setting himself up pretty well defensively.
Yeah, already gotten his engineering bay going up. He is going to be playing at mech this time. So it's something new that we're getting to see out of Wonder.
Yeah, and it's so important that right now Quail goes in for the secondary scout. He sees all the factories being thrown down, so he knows that it is mech.
He does. Alright, Battlecruiser going in for right in the front door, and there's not a lot of queens. The Mutalists reveal themselves.
Yeah, and it looks like there are enough Mutas here to deal with this. Maybe even with the Queen support as well, who is trying to micro away Mutas as well, but it does go down, and yeah, he forces the BC home.
Not too bad damage there. Not a single drone lost to that BC.
Yeah, regardless though, I think it's important that that Wonder, he did confirm the Mutalist with that BC. You know, he kept it home, and now he has missile turrets.
That he does. Going to be getting a couple more on the way. This is only an opening though for GotQuail, as now we already see Infestation Pit being thrown down, and a Hydra Den going to be finishing up fairly shortly.
Yeah, this I do like this because this is again a response to the mech that is coming out. He committed to the Spire before he even knew that factories were being thrown down, and because of that, like so far these Mutalists, they haven't paid for themselves. They haven't really done much at all. Like they defended the BC, they killed 2 SCVs, and that's about it. He needs to do a little bit more to get his value out of that, and you know we do see him reinforcing these Mutalists, making more surprisingly. So he's still committing to Mutalists at least to try and deal some more damage. Yeah,
it is what he's looking to do. Just sort of sharking around with the BC, seeing what damage it can get done. Is he just going to use him in clear creep? I feel like that's a bit of an expensive creep clearer.
It is pretty expensive, but I mean it's also pretty safe, right? Like
you
don't risk losing anything really because you can always teleport away.
You're right there. And with 2 BCs out, a couple of these tech buildings are a little bit vulnerable. I'm just looking at this Hydra Den right now, like, but the Yamatos are used on these Mutalists instead. So in the end, Wonder just gets a little bit more scouting.
Yeah, he gets more scouting. He kills a couple of Mutalists, which is always nice as well. Again, the Mutalists haven't really paid for themselves. But we do see Quail transitioning into Corruptors, which is always good, especially to deal with these BCs. And especially because Wonder, it looks like he's committing to these BCs. He's making a third one, could even be making more.
How often do we see this upgrade, this Soonlight?
What even? Is that building armor?
That is high-sec auto-tracking.
What does that do?
It increases the range of missile turrets, auto turrets, and planetaries. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Which actually kind of makes sense, considering how many missile turrets Wonder has thrown down, but it's an upgrade you rarely see in a late game TBZ, or just Terran in general.
You can tell he's very committed to like the mutalist defense and to turtling up in general. Like we've seen this in his TVT as well, where he has a lot of static defense. He has like a lot of tank walls or tank lines. We do see more tanks on the way. We do see that cyclone upgrade as well. So yeah, I wonder he's getting set up pretty nicely.
Now we just need to wait for him to go mass Ravens. It's a pretty nice position to put the Blue Flame Hellions. It can start to deal some damage on the mineral line from the high ground, but they do get chased away. Only 3 drones going down at the moment. And I'm liking this from GotQuail. Already has his hive, already getting a couple of Vipers out.
Yeah, I like the Vipers. Does he have a lurker den?
I do not believe so. No.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm liking what GotQuail is doing for us right now. Wonder, he's saying, I want to turtle up, I want to get a very good economy going, and then max out and go into you. GotQuail is just sort of thinking, okay, well, you do that, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it sooner.
Yeah, that's a lot of Vipers. That may be actually too many Vipers.
I mean, that's a lot of yoinks.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, where you don't want too many Ravens, right? I think it's the same thing with Vipers. Like there's a lot of them here, and I don't know how efficient he's going to be.
Good yoinks on these VCs, but they do not manage to stop them from teleporting out.
Yeah, they don't.
Just a little too soon.
Yeah, and Wonder, he gets an idea of what the army composition is. GotQuail, he's maxed out with his Hydra Viper Corruptor. I say Corruptor, he only has a handful of Corruptors, which I don't know about that.
It all comes back to these Vipers.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this army composition that he has. He still has these mutalists, which really I feel like he needs to get rid of them just to get a more efficient army.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm just looking at it like, forget about the composition. Look at the actual army size, maxed out already, and okay, GotQuail is starting to lose a lot of drones actually, but yeah, when you're maxed out and you have this much army supply, as Zerg, something is wrong.
Yeah, and Jesus Christ, 14 drones went down to those Blue Flame Hellions. That's a lot of workers. It's gonna have to be remade, and again, he still has that Mutaflux. He still has. And again, like I feel like they'd be better off as corruptors or as just ground. Like the ground army just isn't there for GotQuail.
Yeah, it really isn't going to be relying a lot on these blinding clouds on top of these tanks. There's going to be a position that GotQuail is not going to be able to crack, or should I say quack? Because it's a quail.
Quail's quack.
Maybe. All right, nice yoinks coming out on top of these floors. This air army of GotQuail is looking to be unstoppable, but what's the follow-up going to be?
Yeah, the ground army just immediately evaporates when the tanks re-siege and then they maneuver themselves, and just like that, finally we do have a lurker den on the way, which now makes more sense with his army composition. Like having a lot of lurkers to pull units into with his Vipers sounds like a good idea. Again, he still has that Mutalist Flock. I want him to just dive into the main with him or something. Like he needs to get rid of them. Like, oh god.
Well, you never know, right? I'm thinking that the way GotQuail is looking to play this, I think you're right. He is trying to get a couple of lurkers to have a bit of an anchor that he can yoink units into, like a pit of death. And I guess that's what he's really banking on. That's not the most reliable. That's not the most reliable unit composition, but when it works, it works. Yeah,
and I do think it definitely has an opportunity to work. At the same time, Quail, that's a very ambitious ninja base that he's trying to take.
It is. Well, it's for the sake of symmetry. He's going to go on to the other side, so may as well, right? Instead of, the bases in between.
Exactly. It did end up getting spotted by Wonder, so he shouldn't survive too long. And here we go. The main army is here for GotQuail.
Nice yoinks coming all around. Blinding Cloud on top of the planetary. I don't believe it works on missile turrets, but we'd like to see GotQuail try. Does pull so many tanks up, and it is kind of working on the planetary.
He's trading fairly well. The planetary stands strong though, and Quail does get pushed away. Regardless, though, I think he saved a good amount of his Vipers. I don't think
which is the exact opposite of what you wanted him to do.
Yeah. So he still has his Vipers going for him.
He went down from 7 to 4, it seems.
Yeah.
Or 5.
And he's actually remaking the Vipers that he lost.
Oh well. Alrighty then.
Yeah. It's interesting to say the least. And he did end up losing a couple of his mutalists to that BC as well. He lost that base though to the top left, which is really the one he wanted to keep alive. Somehow he kept the one to the bottom right alive, which, I mean, all right, sure.
I mean, one went down to BCs, the other went down to Hellions. That's a little bit understandable. Like when you spell it out like that.
And yeah, he's continuing to work on his lurker upgrade, which is nice. I do think that he needs to work on that lurker count soon, though, before he maxes out. And
Wonders on Siege, Light.
Oh, the tanks are clumped up, though. Blinding Clouds could do wonders here.
Aha! They definitely could, and there's not a lot of anti-air. There are a lot of Widowmites protecting this, and actually, just one of them needed to connect a second one as well, and that just confirms to GotQuail why moving into that position is a bad idea.
Yeah, he opted to go for the yoinks, and to be fair, even if he did go for the blinding clouds, those widow mines were in such a good position. They've got such good connections, and GotQuail, he gets forced back.
Can you blinding cloud widow mines? I mean, it's a spell.
Yeah, so I think because it targets, I think it doesn't. I don't think blinding cloud works. I could be wrong though. I've never used it against widow mines, to be fair.
Well, somebody in chat can, if somebody in chat can confirm that to us, we definitely appreciate it. And if you weren't convinced that GotQuail was committed to this Viper composition, the fact that he's getting so many Evo chambers on the map just
he's remaking
sort of a pit stop.
Why is he remaking the mutalisks? God,
it's because tanks can't shoot up, Light. Have you learned nothing?
They can't shoot up. This is accurate, and again, he gets some good yoinks. The army is out of position for Wonder. He's pushing up to the north as this is happening. So, yeah, this is a good opportunity to make me take down the planetary.
Yeah, once again, another pretty good blinding cloud, and these lurkers. There's detection, but there's not a lot that can really punish them right now. But the BC does come in and clears things up pretty well. We'd like to see a blinding cloud or two, but oh well, maybe we can get.
Yeah, and at the same time, there are a couple of Hellions going to the third base as well, as they've been doing a couple of run-bys of GotQuail, and more drones go down. Again, Wonder, like, this defensive position, like, that planetary has withstood so many pushes, it just hasn't gone down. And Quail, I feel like he's still working on trying to optimize his army for the past, like, couple of minutes.
What are you talking about? He's already maxed out on Vipers. What more do you need?
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like the Corruptors will win the Battle in the Sky, which is nice. If he has a Greater Spire, then a transition to Broodlords would be ideal. Yeah, it really would, especially when it's such a tank-heavy composition like this. There aren't a lot of Thors, and Wonder's only starting to remake his stores now. This is where I pose the question, does he have a Greater Spire? No. No? No. That's a bit of an oversight. He's been maxed out for a while. He has the money for it. Like, honestly, he was a couple of mutas, which is fine. He really does need something like Broodlords, especially because for the longest time there wasn't. You were pointing it out earlier, right? Tanks don't shoot up. Like, there wasn't a lot of anti-air. But now,
was I pointing that out, or were the tanks pointing it out for themselves?
And I feel like Wonder took note of that, and he's already started Thor production. So. Yeah, there was a window there, and that window is slowly closing. To be fair though, Wonder, he's taking a lot of time. Like he's struggling with minerals right now. Like he's struggling to remax. Yeah, he is, and GotQuail sort of max out pretty soon. Yeah, and again, Hellions get into that third base location. Like more drones go down. He just keeps sending them in. And it looks like we do have the armies looking to clash. Yeah, but such a defensive setup here. Wonder is playing the most patient mech game that he possibly can. He's just reinforcing these, these defensive positions as much as possible, and slowly trying to go into the other side of the map. Yeah, I feel like the one thing going for Quail right now is that Quail, he has his half of the map, and Wonder, it looks like he's struggling. Like, he needs another base, and he just hasn't been going for them. So even though Quail maybe isn't trading efficiently, like, he has the money to remax, and Wonder doesn't. Yeah, he really doesn't. Mineral-wise, anyway, again, it's something that we took note of earlier.
This planetary was, for the longest time, the freshest base of Wonder's economy. And just the fact that, you know, he was forced to repair it so much, he could not get the mining that he wanted to get done there. It's really starting to show itself, but things should be start switching around. Wheels are pretty good. Nice yoinks on top of these BCs, but now they're back again. And these Widow Mines, man, they are doing such a good job.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Out GotQuail's army.
Yeah, it's so difficult for the Vipers to get in, but he does end up yoinking most of them. Nicely done there. He's able to trade pretty well, and behind this, you know, he's expanding. He's finally taking that right bottom right base that he was skipping earlier for some reason. The one next to his natural, and oh my god, but Wonder, he's relentless with these run bys.
Yeah, he knows that the bulk of GotQuail's army is right at his front, and he's got a couple of Hellions that wouldn't be doing anything otherwise. So he's just going on in.
Yeah, and we've gotten to the point where there was a time where Wonder, he was struggling to max out. Now Wonder is finally maxed out, and again, I still give the edge to his army. I still don't think we have a greater Spire for Quail, so again,
still do not. I can confirm that with you.
Quail, please. And he has a lot of corruptors, and to be fair, a lot of those corruptors could be dead supply once there's nothing to shoot in the air.
Yeah, they really could. I mean, Caustic Spray is pretty good, but what's it gonna do against this many turrets?
Yeah, like really, the only thing they have to do is kill the one BC that's out on the map. Like, there's not too much for them to do. Oh, nice yoinks there, again, trading tanks, but I think that this is Wonder's opportunity. There's only one lurker.
Yeah, a couple in backup, and it's gonna be enough to push Wonder back for the time being. I don't believe he has a scan available to him. Otherwise, he'd probably be taking out these, or trying to take out these lurkers. And they're about to go down.
Yeah, only one lurker remains. More Vipers are on the way. Hydras as well. Again, like Hydras, they're okay, but against tanks especially, they're just so squishy. They just melt two tank fires, and Wonder now, like, the momentum is in his favor. He's killed one base, he's looking to kill another.
That he is. And yeah, this could still go either way. You know, these Vipers have a lot of energy on them, but only one of them remaining. Do not underestimate the power of Thors, especially with Cyclones and BCs to back him up. And Wonder, he's once again slowly inching closer.
Yeah, and now that there's only one Viper, like, these tanks look all the more scary. Like, it's so difficult to engage into this. There's only like one Joink left, or one Blinding Cloud, and that will be it. So, Wonder, and he's cut off the army from the top left, so he's going to be able to take that base as well.
He will, and oh lord.
There's still mutas there in the top left.
I believe that these are the mutas from the start of the game. They just have not died. Yeah, his base has been taken out, and yeah, GotQuail is just starving more and more as time goes on. Even his bottom right base being taken.
Yeah, finally Wonder's expanding, and with that, now his economy is secure. The BCs are taking care of the lurkers. Finally, these corruptors have something to shoot, but now that the BC is gone,
nothing, yeah.
There's still no great Aspire.
Yeah, and that's kind of surprising. GotQuail has banking a lot of minerals here, but I feel like because he keeps committing to these Vipers, right? He keeps trying to remake them. He can't really afford much of anything else other than Lings, and he's reluctant to make Lings.
I was about to say, honestly, a Ling Flood wouldn't be too bad. Like, Thors and tanks, without much support, Lings can do really well against them. Like, they need Hellbats to protect them from those light units. And, you know, there are a couple, but with a strong enough push, like, Wonder's army is a little bit vulnerable to it. But yeah, Quail, he's reluctant. As you were saying, he's being really stubborn. He has 5k minerals, and he's refusing to make Lings.
It's all about the yoinks, man.
It's all about the Vipers.
Like, he's from Canada. They like harpoons or something like that. And I apologize, I'm not up on my Canadian stereotypes. GG is called. Wonder takes game number 1.
GG. And as a reminder, that was game number 1 in this best of 7. And so, all right, Yaku, we gotta talk for a bit, okay?
All right.
About what just transpired. Look, I understand when you make mutalisks, you gotta babysit them, you gotta keep them alive. right?
Yeah.
But there comes a point. There comes a point in the game where you don't need to do that anymore. Okay, I know that this is part of the philosophy. When you make mutas, you got to be careful with them. You make sure you don't commit with them. You know, you got to trade efficiently, keep them alive. But
I agree with you there, which is why I say to all Zerg players out there, there's no need to keep an eye on your mutas whatsoever. Send them across the map.
Just send them out.
Just send them out.
Yeah, just shift.
Especially in TVT. Just aim with them, really.
Yeah. Just you know what? Just right click across the map and just send them and pray. That's all you got to do.
Exactly. Especially in TVT. Now watch my TVC win rate go up like, haha, I have tricked y'all.
Yeah, this was interesting to see because honestly, GotQuail, like his macro is good. Like his macro was great. And sure, like the Hellion run-bys were dealing damage, but he was remaking his drones. Like he was fine economically.
Yeah, I think the bulk of it did really just come down to the unit composition, right?
Yeah.
Hydra Viper, as much as I want to see that work, because I feel like that's just a pretty interesting composition, it's not quite as efficient as, say, Ling, Groot, Lord, Corruptor, Viper.
Yeah, like it can work, as you were saying, like in the mid game, I would say it can work, and the thing is that that's not like your end game composition, right?
Exactly. I feel like this is something that Mio Micah would do.
This is you're not wrong. Mio Micah would do this, but without the Vipers.
The good old Ling Hydra composition in TVT. Let's go.
He would, yes, Baneless. Let's not forget to point that out. Without Baneless,
exactly. I mean, Hydra Ling Bane is a pretty solid composition in TVT. Not the most popular nowadays, but still decently solid. Me and Micah is just okay, what if we take away the Banelings? Because, you know, I run my Zerglings to the Banelings a lot, so I have PTSD. I don't want Banelings, especially if they're on my side.
Exactly, and yeah, I'm just curious to see if GotQuail, if this is his go-to army composition. Maybe this is his go-to army composition. Maybe like this is his go-to against mech. Maybe. If Wonder switches things up, maybe we won't see this anymore if he's up against Bio.
I feel like there's probably more to it. I feel like that might just be his go-to composition versus mech on Eternal Empire.
maybe.
I don't think we're gonna be seeing that again.
I hope not. Like it can work, but again, we mentioned it where I feel like the biggest thing holding GotQuail back was himself, with his unit composition and arguably his stubborn unit composition. Maybe lacking in Greater Spire was an oversight. Like I've done that before. Like maybe you think you make it and you made like an upgrade instead by accident. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see if that can come into play this game. Game number 2. Continuing our TVZ best of 7 finals. America versus Canada. Who's going to come up on top? Yeah,
this is the best of 7. We may see all the maps here. It's going to get crazy.
And speaking of crazy here, Light, we're going to be stopping now on Everdream LE Ideally Edle. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We do in fact have a green Terran coming down all the way from the land of America. He is the one, the only, the player who is currently teamless, but representing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from what I'm looking at. Hail to you, that's the clan name. We have Wonder. Or Wonder.
And spawning in at the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing Team All Inspiration. It is GotQuail. So, I have a question for you, Yaku.
Hydra Ling? Maybe. Maybe that's what we'll see in this game.
So, GotQuail's name, is it a question or is it a statement?
That's a good question. Well, okay, if it's a statement, then I feel like he's skipping out on, like, the who has Quail, right? Because I feel like if it's a statement, it'd be like, I've got Quail, or you've got Quail, or somebody else has it, right? But then again... No, okay, so I was gonna say, maybe he could be saying, like, if you don't got Quail, why not? But I feel like that would be more like, get Quail, right? It'd be a statement or an order for you to get Quail. So it wouldn't be got Quail.
Yes, yes. So the real question is then, who has the Quail?
Huh.
Who has the Quail, and
like,
does this Canadian, does he need to know? Do we need to help this man?
I feel like that's on Indiana Jones to find the Quail. The Holy Quail.
Yeah, indeed, and yeah, I'm just really curious to see how Quail is gonna play this out. Again, like last time, he went for a pretty late third, and he may do so again. Kind of depends on how he's gonna spend his resources. He's gonna go for it. Oh,
and the Reaper goes in, and the Reaper goes out.
yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Alright, third hatchery is going to be on the way here, so look at it so far to be much more of a standard game coming out from our red Zerg player.
Which is also an oddity, right? Because you would expect something like 2-base Muta to be on a map like this, right? Like a shorter resistance map, but...
I suppose so, yeah. The way I'm thinking at it is, if it was going to be... It would be a ground-based RB if it's going to be a rush, right? So it would be a Roach Rush or a Ling Flood.
True.
So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so far from what we're seeing, GotQuail is just looking to play a standard macro game.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm curious to see what a standard macro game means for GotQuail. Like, does this mean Lingbane Hydra? Does this mean Lingbane Muta? Does it mean
Ultra?
Yeah, yeah. You know what does he want to go for?
Oh, I like this. Wonder got bamboozled, like.
Oh.
He tried to send the barracks over so he could snipe the Overlord.
But
the Overlord was not there. Yeah, we have one just chilling outside of the ramp. You have the other one waiting for new nice carapace to finish up. We're gonna just jump in and jump out. Look at that!
Okay. And did he spot the fusion core? Is the question.
I don't even spot the fusion core. Like
exactly, I was saying the same thing. Like he's making the bottom right.
Proxy.
I was wondering because I was seeing it in the production tab, and I was looking at the Overlord's vision. I'm like, oh, he doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. I don't see it.
And this actually works out really well for Wonder, doesn't it? Because GotQuail went in, saw the tech lab, saw that it was researching once again. Maybe he thought it was a bamboozling, like the previous game, but he thoroughly scouted that main base. Okay, he did leave a little bit of a blind spot, but yeah, for all Wonder knows, it's just gonna be, you know, a standard.
Yeah, and it may not even matter because he's link flooding. He's making nothing but links right now.
Yeah, he is. In addition to these roaches that are gonna provide a lot of firepower. And I gotta say, this is very ballsy, especially if he thinks that it's gonna be Cloak Banshees. Well, who sends out your roaches when you, under the assumption it's Cloak Banshees? Maybe he knows that it's BCs, or, you know, has a feeling that it's BCs, which is why he's going across and saying, or thinking, yeah, it's gonna take a while for you to get those BCs. I'm just gonna cripple you economically before it can come out.
Yeah, and this could definitely work because where are the factory units? Like, there's no Widow Mines, there's no tanks at all, nothing of the sort, only Hellions coming out, so this Roach Ravager is going to do so much damage.
That it will, and look at that, even taking out the, okay, not quite taking out the supply depot, but it's on its way. This BC, it's helping out a lot, but this is just so much Zerg coming out from GotQuail. I think we're about to see our series tie up.
Yeah, the lanes are just killing so many... killing so many SCVs. Like, even if this got cleaned up, like, the worker disparity is just so great that, oh my god, it just may be impossible for GotQuail. Oh, there it is.
GotQuail gonna be tying up our series. Sideways 1-1.
GG. And I agree, like, that was an incredibly ballsy move. Like, if there was a Banshee coming out, then it would have been a little bit easier for Wonder to defend. Yeah, that BC just didn't really do it for him.
exactly. I didn't do a whole lot. I like how we were just looking at, you know, all the bases and whatnot and just thinking, yes, no, this is gonna be a standard game.
yeah.
Maybe only if this fails will it be standard.
Yeah, I did notice that the Roach one was being thrown down, but I didn't really think much of it. It wasn't until like I saw the production tab and I was like, oh my god, this is happening. And yeah, it worked really nicely because again, if you go Banshees come out a lot faster than BCs. But even then, like without a tank, without those factory units, it's so difficult to hold a Roach Ravager like wing all in like that.
Yeah, it really can be. Alright, well, hopefully our next map will show us a little bit of something different. Going into game number 3, it will be on Ice and Chrome. What do we have in store here, Light?
I mean, I feel like it all comes down to Quail. Like he's been the one who's been going like 2-base Spire. He's been going for Roach Ravager all-ins. Yeah, like are we even gonna see a proper like a longer macro, more standard macro game?
Yes, possible. And here we have it now, gonna be on Ice and Chrome LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We do in fact have a green Terran player coming on all the way from the land of America. He is the player who you have to wonder just how versatile they really can be. Representing Clan Hail to You, apparently JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. On top of that, we have, but currently teamless, we have Wonder.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ice and Chrome LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing Team All Inspiration. It is GotQuail.
And I don't think I've mentioned this yet, Light, but as we are having a Canada versus America finals, we're actually right in the middle of their respective Independence Days.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Canada celebrating Canada Day just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And America having America Day 2 days from now, 4th of July, as we all know.
Is it America Day or is it like...
Well, okay, I got it mixed up, right? Because Canada technically is not independent. Well, okay, I might offend some people by saying that. It is independent in terms of, like, its structure, right? Its law and whatnot. But technically, legally, it's still, what's it called? Like, it's kind of like Australia, right? Where they still respect the Queen.
Well, we're part of the Commonwealth, and I believe that is what constitutes also still... Like,
no, actually, funnily enough, because India and Singapore are also part of the Commonwealth, but do not pay tribute to the Queen.
Interesting. Well, then I have no idea.
Well, okay. you still accept the Queen as the head of state. So yeah. I believe it was Canada Day as more of like a it's more like a national day, you know, to recognize Canada-ness rather than celebrating the what's it called? Constitution or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, it's different for each one, right? Like for Australia Day, it's about like Australia being founded as a country.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't know if that's the same thing for Canada.
In Singapore, it's the holiday of getting out of a toxic relationship with Malaysia.
They want you back.
Dude, sorry. Kick this out.
I don't know. I don't know what goes on there. But as we head into this game, we do see, again, Wonder doing a pretty similar opener, 1-1-1. Hasn't thrown down a fusion core quite yet. Will he finally go Banshees? Will he play like Hut and go for Ravens instead?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. No fusion core does mean that there's not going to be any ranged libs, though.
That it does, and goes for a 1-1-1, but opts to go for this instead, and it gets immediately scouted.
Yeah, it's just a fake out though. It can still, you know, there's still an opportunity for Wonder to cancel Stim and then try to swap the add-ons around, right? Just try to get some Banshees, but at the same time, if he's going for Cloak Banshee, that's a little too late to get Cloak.
So it could be a fake out if anyone's gonna do it. Wonder is. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was on this map as well. I played against a similar opener to this on ladder where they went 1-1-1. Stim was researching, but they transitioned into mech. I was very caught off guard. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense at all.
You know what? It's an expensive investment, but in the end, it's worth it just to be able to, just to be able to trick your opponent, right? Just to see the look on their face. Going like, I thought that was bio. Did you have stem? And you're like, yeah, I did. And he's like, why would you go get stem and then go into bio? It's like, fooled you, didn't I? And it's like, yeah, I guess I was. Good joke. Good joke, my pal.
I love this from Wonder. He is going bio, and this is the first time we're going to see this coming out from him.
Yeah, in TBZ at any rate. Generally, my preferred thing to watch and play when it comes to a TBZ. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Isenchrome is also another one of those maps, right, where you can go into the late game with a sort of split map scenario. In which case, the Terran player would want to have some really good defensive setups, right? A lot of siege tanks, libs if you can afford it.
And speaking of defensive setup, it's a bit of a shame Quail is doing a similar thing, but he's heavily supply blocked. He just made 5 overlords at once because he couldn't produce anything else. And there it is, the same link flood as game number 2, but delayed because of that supply block. And this time it did get spotted. This time there is a tank and a bunch of defensive setup.
Yeah, if this was a map like Everdream or even Submarine, I would say that it's fine to be supply blocked just because of how quickly the reinforcements can go in. But now Wonder, he's set up so nicely in terms of defense. But the Biles are actually looking amazing right now. Oh, look at that. All of the lanes being taken out, and this tank still holds on strong. The bunkers are just way too tough right now for GotQuail to really crack.
Yeah, interesting decisions there for Quail. He opted to use all of his biles to kill all the depots instead of biling the tanks. So opting to go for, like, I guess, guaranteed damage instead of trying to end the game. And, this eBay is exposed as well. He could end up biling that down too.
If it were me, it would be more of a case of just, look, I was supply blocked. Now you have to be supply blocked too. How about that?
Yeah, finally the reinforcements are here. It's really cool. I don't know if you noticed, but he actually biled the Viking down.
He did. He almost biled his own units down, but thankfully the Hellion killed it before it could die to friendly fire.
But yeah, he backs off, takes 4th base. He's droning up behind this as well, which is nice. Again, like, things are kind of evening out. I say kind of. I kind of want to give the edge to Wonder because he went for his opener and he saved his Evo. His eBay. The upgrade is going to finish up as well. And once he counterattacks, like, there's no Baneling Nest. It's just Ling Roach for Quail.
Yeah, for the time being. Anyway, this is a bit of an ambitious move out coming up from Wonder. This has actually been a while since I saw this kind of push, right, with loading up the tanks into the medevacs, but yeah, at least it's not a 2-on-1, which is a more common opening when you go for this sort of push.
Yeah, definitely, and there we go. We do see the Baneless being thrown down, but it will not be ready for this push. We'll see if the Ling Roach is good enough. There are 3 Ravagers as well, and the army does get spotted by that Ling.
It's all going to be coming down to the concave and the positioning on this tank. Of these tanks. Isenchrome is a map that really doesn't help out the Zerg player when it comes to getting those concaves out. A lot of the units being taken out already for GotQuail, and Wonder starting to secure himself. This is a dead third.
Yep, the 3rd is definitely going to go down. Oh, a bunch of these drones are going to go down as well. And we see how important Banelings are because he went in with his Ling Roach Ravager and it just completely melted against this army. Now the 3rd goes down and Banelings are being morphed in, but these are going to be slow Banelings as well. Like, speed hasn't been researched, like the Baneling Nest just finished up now. Oh boy.
Oh boy. And now look at this. I really like what Wonder is doing, just rotating around, trying to go for this other base here. And again, as you said, these Banelings are slow Banes. Even on creep, it wouldn't take too much for Wonder to kite back. And look at that! Kites back. A lot of these Banelings are already down or down to the red.
And the 4th is going to go down, or the now new 3rd goes down as well. So Quail being contained to 2 base economy. And a lot of it comes down to he had slow Banelings, which you can still make work, but he had nothing to support. He had no links to soak up tank fire, and the tanks just went to town on those Banelings.
Exactly, they really did. And I'll wonder, he does not have to, he might just keep rotating here. Just to continue the pressure, but he knows that the damage has been dealt. He's just like, gonna look to go back and secure his own economy.
Yeah, like as you were about to say, like there's no need to continue pressuring, like there's no need to commit, like the damage has been done, like you can just go back home and just continue to macro up, like you have the advantage, no need to risk losing your tanks, and he goes in with his Marines. Ooh, nice Biles, was able to take out a medevac.
Yeah, I really like the idea coming up from Wonder, right? Just stim forward, try to snipe this Cert base once again, and then hot pick up and get out, but yeah, unfortunately, his attention was placed elsewhere at the time.
Yeah, and again, regardless, like he saved all of his tanks. He didn't lose any tanks during that during the entire game so far. So he is nicely positioned. He's working on his SCVs as well. Now it's on Wonder to try and do something about this. And you know, he is working on bailing speed. Once that finishes up, maybe he can have a good engagement. But oh my god, he's so on point with denying this creep.
Indeed, he really is. Only 3 Marines is what it takes. Thanks for getting rid of the armament tag, Liz.
Yeah, and just like that, like Quail, he's struggling to spread that creep. More drops are being loaded up to head out across the map. The 4th is being taken as well. And Quail, like it's on him to try and oh god, even some inefficient bailing trades there. Wonder, he's doing wonders with these drops.
I wonder how he does it. Yeah, the multitasking is pretty dang good right now for Wonder, I gotta say. He's just, again, continuing to apply pressure. Doesn't lose too many Marines to this, and yeah, eventually we might get to a point where GotQuail just cracks under the pressure.
Yeah, we'll see as, again, 2-2 is on the way, but he's not even going to wait for it. We have all these tanks, all this bio pushing out, and Jesus Christ, that's a terrifying army. Yeah,
he knows exactly that he can draw GotQuail's attention away. He knows that GotQuail has to, or can't really afford to split up his army right now. So what does he do? He just continues to be annoying with this double drop, even goes into the main.
Yeah, and at the same time, the main army does push into the 3rd base locations. Tanks are sieged, and to be fair, they are a little bit clumped up, so they can be exposed to Biles, but the other Marines aren't going to let him close.
Yeah, I love that bit of accidental body blocking here on the tanks, actually helping out Wonder quite a bit. And even 1 Marine still alive in the main base, still continuing to apply the pressure. A lot of bio is starting to get taken out by GotQuail, but it is not going to be enough. GG is called. Wonder going to be taking it to game, or taking game number 3. Not quite at match point, but pretty close.
Yeah, GG, and Wonder showing, or this game really showcasing that if you're a Zerg player and you go for like this huge committed all in early on and you don't deal like economic damage, like you're in, or just, you know, kill tanks or like some kind of value, like it hurts so much. You know, not having that bailiness, not having the worker count to sustain, like making another army, just shows how like the counterattack can deal so much damage. Like Jesus Christ, he basically ended the game when he pushed out and he killed 2 hatcheries for nothing, you know, like
exactly. And from there, it was just a matter of you know, keeping that pressure up, right? Just not letting GotQuail, just not giving GotQuail the opportunity to breathe.
Yeah, pretty much. And to be fair, Quail, like he was doing a decent job. Like he kept trying to, like he double expanded. He was droning up as well. He was trying to reestablish himself, but when you're already that far behind, like
even got a macro hatch just to make sure they had the units that he needed.
Yeah, but in the end, I think probably the biggest thing is that, like, because those bases got taken out, it's important to note that the creep spread was really hindered because of that as well. Like there was no creep spread at all when the tanks sieged up outside the 3rd. Like it was like there was no opportunity for like the Ling Bane to surround the army and really like get a good position.
Indeed. Now I know how I'm gonna play TVZ on Ice and Chrome, or I guess even TVP. Yeah. Because those are some fantastic places to siege up tanks on. We're going to go into game number 4. It is going to be the Death Aura.
Ooh, and we'll see if this is the death of our Zerg player, as, again, Wonder is on match point. Just needs one more. He's not on match point. Never mind, this is a best of 7. Yep. I heard you say it, and I was like, oh, I guess he is.
Yeah. I mean, I was about to say he's on match point, but then my brain was like, no, he's not. So I was like, he is not on match point.
Okay, I just heard match point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my B.
So good.
Alrighty, then we are now gonna go on to game number 4. I almost said potentially the final game, but not gonna be the final game whatsoever. We still have quite a ways to go here. He is spawning in the bottom right-hand corner map, all the way in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. We do in fact have a green Terran player coming down all the way from the land of America. He is going to be representing Hail to You, as well as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, although currently teamless. We have Wonder.
And spawning in at the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing Team All Inspiration. It is GotQuail.
Alright. Now, Death Aura, I feel, it's a map that can go one of two ways. It's kind of like Nightshade or the previous map pool, right? It can give you these sort of macro games that usually, you know, they can go into the mid game or even the late game, but at the same time, it's not a bad idea to try to go for an all-in or a rush on this map.
I hope that Quail doesn't do the Roach Ravager Ling all-in 3 games in a row. He's already done it twice in a row, and already again, like, the first time it works because it catches your opponent off guard. Like, that's, you got to stop it there, right? Like, because the next time your opponent's ready for it, and if you do it 3 times in a row, like, it's just, it doesn't sound like the best of ideas.
I'm definitely with you there. But we have seen a couple of players able to, you know, really show off their cunning, really be able to disguise the roach push. It's a hard thing to do. I personally can't wrap my head around how a certain player would really do that, but it can happen.
Yeah, it can definitely happen. We'll just see how Quail plays this out. Again, I'm curious to see if he has another opener, because so far we've only seen 2 this series, whether it's that 2-base Spire or that big Roach Ravager all in, and yeah, we'll see how he transitions. Maybe again, I just want to see him go Ling Bane, just like straight up. You can do it, I believe. And
we had some Ling Bane in the previous game.
Yeah, some Ling Bane, you know, he got there eventually. It was a little bit too late, but yeah.
I feel like as the series goes on, eventually we'll go into the Ace match, and GotQuail is gonna have literally nothing but a Ling and a Bane. Like he's progressing towards the Ling Bane.
Oh no, the Overlord! Overlord speed's gonna kick in pretty soon. Can he escape? Can he escape? Can he escape?
And already preemptively backs away. Pneumatic Carapace has finished up. There's just not enough damage on 2 Marines to deal with that.
I love it. I love it. Nicely done there by Quail. Keeps his Overlord alive. At the same time, goes in with another for the Scout. And ooh, depending on how long he sticks around, he may see the second Rax being thrown down. Is it being delayed on purpose?
What?
The Rax. Oh, sorry. No,
it's the landing Rax.
Yeah. I thought it was the building Rax. I was like, ah.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help that the SCP was nearby, right? But it turns out to actually be for the CC.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna ask again. Did he see that fusion core?
No, he did not. As it was, once again, proxied.
Creep tumor under attack.
Interesting. I love that Wonder does this. I think it's a really smart idea. To be honest, I don't think I've ever encountered this in the ladder.
It is just gonna be a straight up Baneling that's coming out there from GotQuail.
He's doing it. He's doing it. He may die to the BC, but he's doing it.
Nah. If he dies to the BC, he's gonna take down Wonder with him.
It's possible. I do like that Wonder, you know, he's switching things up on Death Aura. You know, he's going back to this BC. Ooh, even getting Yamato as well. And I love this Quail. He's throwing down that Spire. I know he intends it for Mutalisk, but regardless, it'll help so much against BCs once it eventually finishes up.
Yeah, once GotQuail confirms that it's BCs, it doesn't take much to just switch it into Corruptors. And this is a decent opportunity for Wonder to try to go in for a scout, but doesn't want to risk it. Knows that it would be way too easy to get surrounded here.
Yeah, definitely, and he doesn't know how far away those banelings are from morphing in, so he could just run into banelings. But again, these queens are a little bit out of position. He has to be careful not to be caught off creep when the BC comes in. As these queens, they're his anti-air right now. They are his answer to that BC, and yeah, we'll see how Wonder does it. You know, does he just TP in? Does he fly across the map? There are definitely different ways to approach this.
Yeah, there definitely are. I kind of want to say it on Def Aura, it might just be worth it to TP across the map. Because, you know, you have, you know, depending on where you decide to escape from, if you decide to escape via the natural, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. But if you decide to escape just by going to dead air, by the main base, you know, that's a possibility.
Yeah, definitely, and it's interesting because now enough time has passed where the Mutalisks are being morphed in. They're going to be here once the BC comes, so there will be that more consistent anti-air available to GotQuail. There it is, the BC did decide to fly across the map. Now Quail knows about it, and he already has Mutalisks, so he should be okay.
Yeah, starting to come on in, trying to get a bit of a concave on him, on his BC, and yeah, Wonder is just focusing on these Mutalisks for the time being. He really does not want to be harassed by them.
Yeah,
so it takes out a couple and blinks away. Alright, nicely done. Or TP's away.
Yeah, Wonder with a decent trade. I think he killed 2 or 3 Mutalisks there, which is always good. Gonna repair that BC. And again, the Mutalisks, they get revealed. A bunch of missile turrets are already down. And we'll see how this game will progress.
Yeah, definitely one thing to keep in mind. Now, when you go for early game, or this sort of 3-base or 2-base Muta, you already know that your Mutalisks are only going to harass. The fact that about half of them were taken out as well, you're even more vulnerable, but
look what he's doing. He's taking
super greedy right now.
He is taking
expanding.
A bunch of... Yeah, he's double expanding, he's triple expanding right now, and the purpose of this is to take those rich gases. What's interesting is that... So, it's possible. Risky did this against Probe in a ZVP, and it made sense when he did it. I don't know if it's making a lot of sense right now. We'll see, especially because, I don't know if he knows this, but Wonder is going mech.
That he is. Once again, going to be... seeing this sort of BC mech style, Wonder loves to really be dedicated to these BCs. Oh, one of these bases has already been scouted out by Wonder, so he is going to look to try to deny it. We do see a lot of Hellions going there, but backs away once he realizes that the Mutalisks are going to be defending.
Yeah, the big thing is once Quail figures out that it is mech, I'm curious to see what his next step is going to be, because right now he's committing to like melee to ground upgrades and Ling Bane Muta, which is fine, but like what's next? Like, is he going to go for Vipers again? Is he going to throw down a Hydra Den?
Oh yeah, I was about to ask you that same question. Like, what is the objective behind getting 4 rich Vespene gas guys?
Well, yeah, to me, that tells me that he wants to go Master Muta. Like, Mutalisks are the most gas-intensive unit that you can get. Oh god, the Winter Bites!
Yeah, oh, very good connections there. See a lot of them now down into the red. Really would not take much to really take them out. And yeah, 7 more Mutas are on the way. GotQuail is committed to air weapons. I guess it could just be mass Mutas.
Yeah, and like, to be fair, this can do well against what Wonder's army composition until he gets out Thors. Like, I feel like Thors kind of hard counter them. In saying that, Widowmines also do really well as well, and he's already gotten amazing shots out. He could get a couple more as they're
like
actually
so. Oh Lord, Light! Just see that Mutalisks count just thin out, and it's I don't think we pointed this out, but Wonder is deliberately scanning for the Overseer and trying to Yamato them down.
Yeah, there are now 3 Overseers with this army, but already 1 does... Oh, no, never mind. Yamato's down.
Mutalisks, yeah.
Muta.
And yeah, now Wonder is going straight onto the heart of GotQuail's army. Already not worried at all about Immutus, just looking to take out this Ling Bane as GotQuail is trying to go for a bust or trying to go around. But once again, these Widow Mines, man.
Oh god, and I don't like this. Oh, he's going in!
He can't even draw them away. He can't even draw them away, like, because the tanks are going to deal with them.
Oh
but
my
he does
god, now
actually deal with a couple of them already.
Yeah, it's just pure Banelings, and there are Hellions here to deal with it. It looks like he will trade well, but like no economic damage is going to be done. Like this gets dealt with. Wonder holds. Ooh, nice Baneling connection though.
Yep, 7 SCVs do go down behind that. In the end, though, is it going to be enough? If you look at the units lost tab, that's a whole lot more resources GotQuail has lost compared to Wonder.
Yeah, we're in a weird situation because I would say that this is really good for Wonder because of how much gas Quail has lost. But he has 2 rich Vespine gas. If he chooses to, he could have another 4. He could have 4. He hasn't utilized that left-hand base at all for gas. So he can kind of afford to lose all the Mutalisks that he did.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you want to be overly reliant on, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's a weird situation where on a different map, I would say that like Quail, like he's just lost so much in terms of gas, but because he has all this gas available to him, he can kind of get away with it. Like look, like he's banking up so much gas. Actually, he has too much gas right now.
He just cannot. It's almost an opposite of game number 1, where he had too much minerals but not enough gas.
Yeah. So maybe like he can do a little bit better on this map because he's taking all the rich Vespine gas. Again though, I'm just curious what he's gonna do because he's working on Hive. He's still committing to those ground upgrades. Like, is he finally gonna go Great Aspire and maybe going to Broodlords, or is he planning to do something else? I hope so.
Like when you make this many Corruptors and you know that your opponent's just making VCs and not much behind that, you have to make use of these Corruptors somehow. And with the amount of missile turrets that Wonder likes to get, you're not going to be caustic spraying.
You have to be careful when you say that though, because you're like, you know, he has this many Corruptors, he has to be going Broodlords. Didn't happen in game 1. He had those Corruptors.
Right. But that's also because we knew that he was okay, no, I can't argue that.
And we do have an Infestor upgrade on the way, so interesting. We do have Infestors, which I would say, yeah, Fungals do wonders against Ferrari mech, like the Hellion Cyclone. Like you need Fungals to be able to catch that really maneuverable army. And we'll see as the Hive did finish. Ultra Den gets thrown down. He's not opting to go for that Great Aspire.
Versus mech? Do you often get this Ultras versus mech here, like?
Not often, but in conjunction with Infestors, it can work. It's just
right, because the neural parasite that GotQuail has started researching.
So it can definitely work. It isn't. I don't think it's the best composition, but you know you can make it work. A couple of these Corruptors are going down, but again, I feel like it's fine to lose Corruptors in this situation. And oh god.
And nice SimCity coming out from Wonder did manage to really choke a lot of these units. In fact, we see a lot of Banelings just crashing into, just wasting their shots on these missile turrets. 12 SCVs have gone down though. Wonder is nowhere near to maxing out or in a position where he can afford to start banking.
And I think what I love is that this time GotQuail, he's not afraid to make Lings. Like he's making so many Lings right now, and they're going to be able to complement this army so much. This Ling Bane, along with these Infestors, he's working on all his upgrades. Like Quail, he's looking pretty solid.
Yeah, even Adrenal Glands on top of this.
Yeah, he's on top of all his upgrades. He has to be careful though. Like this Cyclone army is still pretty scary.
Exactly, especially when fighting in a choke point like this. Oh, nice little bit of Widow Mine shots here once again. These Cyclones starting to kite back and split.
Oh.
And, you know, Wonder does lose quite a number of them, but in the end, I just gotta give him the edge in terms of the trade.
I agree if there was something behind this. Like, normally you have Hellion Cyclone trading out on the map, and as that's happening, you're building up, like, a tank count at home. But it feels like that's all the army that Wonder has. Like, look at the supplies. Like, he's kind of struggling right now.
Yeah, they're both just kind of trading large armies for large armies, and at the end of the day, GotQuail has the means to remake that. Wonder does not quite yet.
He gets his Hellion surrounded as well, and yeah, Wonder, he's struggling right now. Like, he keeps trading, and he just can't afford to remake what he's losing, and It looks like he may be able to find a position here to take out a base, but 7 ultras are on the way. I don't think he has an answer to these ultralisks.
Yeah, he did have a lot of cyclones, but again, they have been taken out. Oh,
Yeah.
from this one cyclone that's targeting a larva instead of the hatchery. And things are starting to look pretty rough, to say the least. Kindness plating is finished up, and ultra speed does not even need to be finished. It does. He does need to make sure that these ultras aren't running into tank range, though, unnecessarily.
Yeah, we can see how these ultras do just melt 2 tanks and cyclones. So you have to be careful not to, lose some needlessly like that. Ooh, a big Bane run by coming in here.
Yeah, unfortunately not a lot of workers here. And quick little lift up. That was a planetary that would have gone straight down, but yeah, not quite. Oh, light!
He's trying to take a base, but Quail is already there, and yeah, like Quail, he did end up losing that base to the left-hand side. He does have a decent ultralist count as well, but at the same time, Wonder, he's been able to reestablish himself. He's got decent tank count, decent cyclones. I would love for him to get some liberators. Liberators do so well against ultralists, but at the same time, you can also argue that it's hard to pull off because there's already corruptors out on the map. So, and I don't fault him for that.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to go, you have like the checklist, right, in Terran mech compositions. I feel like you want to go get a couple of Thors before you go into that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we do see another big engagement coming down here. GotQuail just trying to catch this off, and fighting up a ramp, not at all what you want to do, especially not when you have this many tanks and this many cyclones out.
Yeah, and what's happening right now as all these ultras are going to go down is because these ultralists, they're awful on their own. They need support.
Really are.
They need lings out there to tank shots, to force like the cyclones to lock on, and oh god.
I was about to say, Wonder has a golden opportunity here, a window of opportunity to really just go in and cause as much damage as it can before GotQuail remaxes, but in the end, GotQuail had to give that up, and now we can say that Wonder saw match point.
GG, Wonder takes that game, and again, I like what Quail was doing with his army composition. It was actually looking pretty decent, but something important to note out, I don't think we saw a single infestor be made.
We did not, maybe towards the end there. But yeah, he was getting all of these upgrades, but I guess maxed out before he could get some infestors, and yeah, when he maxed out, he moved out, and when he moved out, he kind of lost his army, and yeah, that was, we know what happened then.
Yeah, like, going into what I was saying about ultras is, ultras, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, fill in time for a little bit, I'm just gonna refill my water.
Oh, good. Ultralists, like, they need some kind of support, and whether it's lings or ideally infestors, and it seems like Quail, he knew that, and he had those infestor upgrades already. Pretty early on, he was working on those infestor upgrades, but we never saw any infestors, we never saw any fungals, and that's exactly what you need against these heavy cyclone compositions, because once you fungal, then the ultralists can finally catch up. But we didn't see that. We saw the infestors kited down. They all just melted to the mech army, and Wonder, like, he's looking pretty dominant so far. Like, Quail, he's been pretty creative with the ways that he's been playing, but Wonder has just been so solid. Again, Quail, kind of questionable decisions when it comes to his army composition. Like, he had the economy, like, he had so much gas, he expanded so aggressively, and he was getting away with it as well, but yeah, the army just wasn't there, whether it was infestors or vipers to support or more lings. Just, yeah, he was definitely lacking there when it comes to his composition. Meanwhile, good morning to Darking. I assume good morning. I hope you haven't been staying up this entire time.
I pulled a Yoda Slim.
You may have. I mean, Yoda Slim at least went to bed already. Shout out to Yoda Slim. I think he went to bed around 3:30, like a couple of half an hour ago. Yeah.
I believe Texas is an hour. No, not an hour. 13 hours behind me. So yeah, it would be 3 a.m.
God damn it, Darky. He's still awake. The passion with this guy.
I was assuming that they were just sleeping in shifts, just so they know what went on in NA Contender.
I like it. But here we go. As you were saying, we are going to be loading into potentially the final map.
That it is. Oh boy, Light. And yeah, just knowing what map we're on and knowing that our players aren't too afraid of, you know, being very aggressive. Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, it could be our final map. It might not be.
It could be. It could be. I've got a lot to say about this, but here we go.
All right, then. Oh. Hope nobody saw that. Here we are coming into game number, what was it? A lot. Game number 5. Game number 5 of this best of 7 series, where here on this map, like, we all live on an LE submarine. An LE submarine. An LE submarine. And now you know why so many people veto it. In the bottom right corner map, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of the map, we do in fact have a green Terran player coming out all the way from the land of America. He is going to be representing Hail to You, as well as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, apparently, but currently teamless, so anybody want to be picking up, there's your opportunity. Only needs to win this one game, Light, and he is going to be our next champion. It is Wonder.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Submarine LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player, currently down 3-1. He needs to win this match if he wants to progress in this series and bring it back. Can he do it? It is GotQuail.
I'm disappointed, Light.
I don't know what to say, because on the one hand, I kind of like, I would like it if Quail was very aggressive. At the same time, I think it's a little bit obvious on this map, so I don't know if it would work out well against a player like Wonder. Yeah,
you do raise a pretty good point there. But at the same time, I kind of feel like Wonder is a bit more of a reactive player, right? So far, anyway, it hasn't seemed like they're really, you know, preparing for... Like, they're really playing it too defensively. Although I say that, but now thinking back to the TBT,
yeah,
he was the more defensive of the two Terra players.
Yeah, and I would say that on the map, I believe it was Everdream, maybe the map after Everdream, after he got all in, like, he did open up a lot more safe, which is why when Quail tried to do the same thing 2 games in a row, it just didn't really work out. So yeah, we'll see how Wonder play. We'll see how these players play it out, right? Like, this is a pretty short rush distance. I will say that, like, these pushes could hit a lot faster, a lot stronger for the Zerg player, or he may opt to just play it a little bit more standard. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, you always got to keep your eyes open, but you don't want to discount the possibility of a Terran player going very aggressive, going for a bit of a rush. Right now, it's just going to be 1-1-1. Gonna be swapping the add-ons, getting a reactor on that factory. It's not a... Yeah, it's just gonna be standard Hellions. It can't be mines, right?
Yeah, so far, so standard. And again, we'll see if a Fusion Core gets thrown down. We'll see if a Banshee gets made. I don't think we've seen Wonder make a Banshee at all, period. Maybe it's not just in his repertoire.
Yeah, he's waiting for Lumia to wake up.
That's what we're waiting for, and yeah, so far this Reaper gets into the main base, you know, gets a good amount of scouting information, does see that there's no early lair, does see the gas count as well, so nothing too crazy is coming out, pretty standard from the Zerg.
And this could, yeah, he could not be more happy right now, Wonder could be, but there's the Roach Warren.
Yeah.
GotQuail was just waiting for that, that Reaper to come out.
Yeah, but as soon as it left, everything gets thrown down.
Yeah, but is it too late, though? Because here's another thing about this map that Terran players love to do, like, it is going for these sort of, I wouldn't quite say early pushes, but it's a standard push that hits a lot earlier. Stim is already on the way, we do see the tech lab on the factory. There's going to be getting a couple of tanks, getting a couple of medevacs, and a good amount of submarines. And is it gonna be too much for GotQuail?
Yeah, Quail, as we do see, he stopped drone production a while ago. As soon as that Roach Warren finished, I imagine we're going to see nothing but Roaches on the production tab. There it is, 11 Roaches. He's doing it again. He's going for this push. And defensively, it looks like one tank should be ready for Wonder. Ooh, immediately throwing down a bunker as well. I love this.
Okay, I was gonna say, if Wonder, doesn't realize this is coming, then he might just, he'll have enough tanks, but if he just moves out and gets caught on siege, that's a done deal. But yeah, it seems like he does know what's going on.
Yeah, or at least he's just playing this out incredibly safe. And Quail, we'll see. He's just making more links. He's committing to this, and we'll see how this goes for him. Again, one tank will be set up. It's all going to come down to those biles and whether or not he has high ground vision for the tank.
The bunker
as well.
got cancelled, the bunker did get cancelled. Wonder does not. I guess he decided, okay, I'm playing it safe, and then thought, nah.
Yeah, because he doesn't know. He doesn't know for sure, and there's an overlord here, so it could potentially give him vision of that tank, and if that tank gets biled down, it could be over.
Or I guess that was a misclick. He's remaking the bunker.
I think now he knows that he needs it.
Yeah, and already we see the wall gets taken out.
Oh, the tank is exposed.
Tank is so exposed. And there you have it, the tank on the high ground. The money tank right there. The most important unit for Wonder. Does get taken out. Does have another tank here. And he's going to be trying to keep that alive. But now all of the Marines get surrounded. The biles on top of the tank. This is looking like it could be way too much. In fact, it's looking like too much. Look at the army supply difference.
There it is. The bunker has been finished, but there's nothing to fill it.
GotQuail fighting back.
Quail, he does it. He does that Roach Ravager push once again, and this time on Submarine it works. It looked like Wonder he was playing it safe, but again, he never got confirmation about what his opponent was doing, so he ended up cancelling that bunker, and his tank was in a really exposed position as well.
I agree.
And yeah, I was a bit worried that, it was going to be a little bit too one-sided, but Quail, he brings it back, and now we are going to be heading in. We're going to be continuing this series.
Yeah, game number 6. Still potentially the final map of the evening. That is to be determined. I just looked at chat here, and Nuevo Leon. That's New Spain, is it not?
Leon. Leon is a name.
Yeah, Leon is like it was like one of the. It's like one of the Spanish states, isn't it?
I know nothing about Spain. I couldn't tell you.
That's the motherland. Sure? Then again, I don't know that much about Indonesia, so.
Java.
Well, I guess it's like double for you. Right?
Yeah, that's like the grandma land,
Yeah, it's like further removed because it's like they went from Spain to Peru and then to Australia.
It's further up the family tree,
Yeah. But speaking of the further up, here we have the map where you would try to go further up. It is the Pillars of Gold holding up the Golden Wall, which keeps the Eternal Empire. Here we go. I just want one series, one series where we have that specific order, right? The Pillars of Gold, it holds up the Golden Wall. Next game, you're in the Golden Wall. It keeps the Eternal Empire. Next game, you're in the Eternal Empire. And there you have it. That's the final game. Here we are! In the top right corner of the map, spawning in the top right corner of the map, we do in fact have a green Terran player coming out all the way from the land of America. He is going to be representing Hail to You, as well as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If anybody can tell us which character this decal is, that would be appreciated. Currently teamless, we have Wonder.
That's one of the popular it's not Dio. No, it's not. His theme song is incredibly popular.
Oh,
that's what he's known for.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember it.
Yeah. It's like there are a lot of piano covers of it and stuff.
Stardust? Question mark? Star something, I want to say.
Star-Lord?
Star-Lord? Yeah, maybe. Not the Chris Pratt version.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing Team All Inspiration. It is GotQuail.
And I've been, I have some opinions on this map, Light. I've shared them with you into the broadcast before. Now, if I'm not wrong, I'm just gleaming and whatnot opinions. There does seem to be a consensus that Terran players aren't too fond of Pillars of Gold, at least in TVZ. But at the same time, I think I'm over-dramatic. I'm over-dramatizing it as a little bit as well when I'm like, oh, this map, it's so Zerg favored. When meanwhile the other Terran players are like, yeah, it's Zerg favorite, but like, you know, it's not that bad.
There's a lot of Terran players that are like, oh yeah, this is a great map. But you have your PTSD, you have your trauma, and it's understandable. Hopefully we can all be there for you, and we can get through it together. As we are here on Pillars, and yeah, I'm just again, I hope GotQuail doesn't do the same Roach Ravager push. I mean, to be fair, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like if it keeps working. Oh
yeah.
Like if it like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like if it keeps working, then keep doing it, I guess. But yeah, I'm just curious to see how he's gonna play this out, as he is getting a pretty early lair to base.
I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Works out, but not when your opponent is on match point.
Yeah, and okay, so there it is. The gases are being taken. 2 gases. He's doing it again. Spire. He's going for it.
I love it. Like
okay,
LUV, love it. And yeah, GotQuail is switching up a little bit, not switching up too much, as he does like to go for these quick sort of lair builds. But Wonder really changing things here.
This could kill Quail. This could be awful for him. I mean, we're going to be seeing a Hellbat push coming out as soon as that armory finishes, I feel like, and that Spire isn't going to be done in time at all, because he's going for that Spire, because he's saving up his gas for those Mutalisks. There aren't going to be any Banelings either. It's just going to be Lings, Queens, and maybe some Roaches. Yeah,
I think that is going to be the vital question, isn't it? Like, how soon are those Mutalisks going to come out? Because once those Mutalisks pop, Wanderer's push, it's gone. And considering how much he's committing to this, he's going to be pretty vulnerable.
Yeah. Here we go. The push is on the way. There are going to be Roaches here, but the push does have Marauders, so we'll see how much damage can get done. Again, like, Quail, like because of his opener, like, he's trying to save up as much gas as possible, but it does look like it did get spotted by some Overlords, and yeah, how much damage is going to be done?
Doesn't quite have concussive shells, but that's, they can still really put the hurt on armored units like that. Here come the Hellbats coming in. Yeah, Wonder's just so committed here. But here comes a little bit of a flank here with the Roach. And it is going to be enough for the time being to chase GotQuail away.
Yeah, it's so important that he decided to make Roaches. Without those Roaches, he would have been in so much trouble. Of course, so because he opted to go for those Roaches, it does mean that he doesn't have as many Mutalisks as he would have liked.
What are we seeing, Light?
What?
For the first time, Wonder is going to be committing to these Banshees. Or at least a Banshee for the time being, depending on how things goes. It's going to be
getting... it's a misclick? I think it's meant to be like a... Yeah.
I think we should wait and see for what the units coming out of these factories are going to be, because Hyperflight Rota's Banshees, in addition to Ferrari Mech, that's going to hit hard and that's going to hit fast. That is the ultimate base sniping composition.
Yeah, definitely. And Wonder, he's already caught wind of these Mutalisks, as Thor is on the way. The Roaches are pushing out as well, so this Roach Mutalisk push will be coming.
Yeah, the one time that Wonder goes for Banshees is also the one time where Banshees aren't very ideal for him.
Yeah.
Well, okay, they can help him against the Roaches.
Yeah, and the missile turrets, they do finish up just in time. One of them does anyway. He's trying to deny the second, but there are enough SCVs here, so they do finish up. The Mutalisks do get warded away. And the Roaches, can they get much done? To be fair, there's no
Yeah,
tank.
there's slow Roaches for the time being. Yeah, there's no tank. There is a bunker filled with Marauders still. And it's going to be kind of dangerous. The Thor as well, you know, they're not exactly favored against Roaches, but they do decently well.
That they do, and right now Quail, he's just containing his opponent to 2 bases, just making sure that he makes it as difficult as he can for Wonder to expand. Oh my god, there are just so many missile sites here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for Wonder with that, about the possibility of these turrets really digging into his income, but he's got a pretty healthy mineral income and a pretty acceptable mineral bank as well. He is hurting on gas though, which is why it's so important that GotQuail is preventing this expansion.
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially because, oh god, that was such a good Widowmine shot, but there wasn't really much of a follow-up, and again, like, as you were saying, like, being contained to 2 bases, and your opponent is double expanding, like, Quail is working on his 5th base. Like, this is gonna hurt so much for Wonder unless he's able to break out soon, and try and, you know, get back into the game when it comes to his economy.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a tough ask here. But we do see Wonder start to move out, does confirm what the army is, and yeah, he's gonna be securing his economy pretty soon.
Ooh, and as this is happening, GotQuail, he did get an infestation pit. We have Swarm Hosts.
That is a bit of an old school way of dealing with mech. Well, I say old school, but yeah, I guess it never really went away. Swarm Host versus mech just got a little bit less popular.
Yeah, it's still like a staple. I know, like, Cham does it consistently against mech as well. You know, even with the Nidus nerfs, like, it still doesn't deter players from using it anyway. Like, it's still viable. And there we go, Nidus Swarm is on the way. The Swarm, Swarm is on the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a good thing that Wonder does have a couple of Thors here, as well as these Widowmines. Widowmines connections are fan-frickin-tastic. But already a tank goes down.
Yeah, the tanks do go down. So, you know, he was able to trade fairly well. The Swarm Hosts do get revealed.
But
no.
the Hellions aren't quite taking them, and these Roaches are going to be enough to deal with that. GotQuail is really channeling his inner starving player.
Yeah, and honestly, this is looking
master.
Yeah, this is looking incredibly rough for Wonder, because Wonder, I think he invested too much in that anti-Mutalisk, and it took him so long to get his 3rd up and running. Now Quail, he's maxed out. You know, he's pushing in with these Locusts, and they're getting on top of the main army.
And at this point, even without Locusts, GotQuail has just so much army. If these Swarm Hosts were Roaches, it's just way too much army for Wonder to really deal with. But this is going to be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, like, there is a single Banshee and a BC, which is nice. They can deal with this army eventually, but 25 SCVs went down.
Yeah, none of these Corruptors are coming out. It's gonna be a lot more iffy, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it just took way too long for Wonder to get into the swing of things, which was honestly surprising to see. Like, you were pointing it out earlier, where you were worried about the amount of missile charges being turned down. Like, he was spending a lot of money in defense, which in the end really hurt him. Yeah.
I think much more than anything else was just being contained on 2 bases and deciding to go mech. Now, to be fair, Wonder decided to go mech before the contain came out, right? But yeah, it certainly didn't help.
Yeah, definitely. And just like that, another base does go down, and the Swarm Hosts are on top of the production.
GG, we are getting an ace match, Light.
Oh my god, I was worried that Wonder was gonna 4-1, but Quail has brought it back multiple games in a row, and now we're here in game number 7.
Nodding my head here. Oh lord, and what better way to end it off, Light, than on a map like this. I'm looking at chat right now, and I'm getting some confirmation. Leon is the autonomous community in Spain. My state is named after it, New Leon. Ah, nice, Giorno.
Yeah, and that JoJo's character is Giorno.
Do
you recommend looking up his theme song on YouTube? It's pretty good.
I feel like I've probably heard it, but I just never
Probably
knew
have.
what it was.
Yeah,
Star
it's pretty
Platinum
hip.
and Stardust Dragon are also apparently characters, but they are not him.
Yeah. Apparently not. Apparently not. All right. Here we go. Of course, this is game number 7, which means we have seen every single map in the map pool except for one. I'm sure the people can guess what we're going to be getting into.
Daybreak!
I was trying to say another map, but I just completely blanked out. I was like, what other maps are there? Redshift!
Yeah! What is the name of the map? Not Pillars of Gold, Pillars the other one? Where you
Pillars
have
of Eternity?
No, the one that had the slow zones in the air. It was called
Turbo Cruise?
Turbo Cruise was a while ago. I'm thinking the one that was literally Purity and Industry. Why did I go for Pillars? We're going into game number 7, our ace match. Everything hinges on this. Golden Wall. Who is gonna win? Is it gonna be GotQuail, our Canadian Zerg player representing all inspiration? Or is it gonna be Wonder, our American Terran player representing Giorno?
That is the question. Oh boy, here we go.
And it all hinges on this, as we were saying, spawning in the right-hand corner of the map, all the way in the right-hand side of the Golden Wall, keeping the Eternal Empire safe. We have the Green Terran coming out all the way from the land of America. Gonna be looking to get his first ever NA Contender championship here. Can he do it? I don't believe he's a Royal Roader. I'm gonna have to double check that, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. Representing Hail to You, as well as Giorno from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we have Wonder.
And spawning in at the bottom left-hand corner of Golden Wall LE. Spawning in the left-hand corner of Golden Wall LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player representing Team All Inspiration. It is GotQuail.
And what a way to end it on. What a way to end it, like, on a map like Golden Wall. There's really just so many strategies that can come into play here.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if we see GotQuail get the gold base. You know, he was pretty greedy on Death Aura, getting those high gas bases as well. So, you know, similar situation here. We could see that. Or maybe not. Maybe Wonder is the player to get that gold base. You know, we could see them expand to the south side of the wall. We could see them expand to the north side of the wall. There's definitely a lot that can happen here. And something that's interesting is that last game, Quail showed that he's willing to make Swarm Hosts, and Swarm Hosts can work on a map like this as well.
Oh, that it can. Yeah, now that I think about it, I'm actually kind of surprised. I don't think we've seen that many Swarm Hosts games on Golden Wall.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that we haven't seen a lot of games on Golden Wall, period. Like, I think...
Yeah, well, I mean... yeah, and whenever we do, we see the Zerg player go for you know, main out their drones into the gold base.
Yeah, like, there's a reason why this is game number 7, right? Like, this often does get vetoed, unfortunately, and yeah, I say unfortunately because I do think that it is a pretty unique map and it does offer a lot of different ways that the game can play out. And speaking of different ways, we do have a lair on the way.
Alrighty then, we're gonna have to keep our eyes on the gas count. Only one at the moment, which is generally indicative of a Night Swarm coming up, but it's not too late for GotQuail to decide, you know what? I want to get Mutas or something and just throw down more gases.
Yeah, at the same time, I was about to say that typically, also because of where the lanes are positioned and the queens, you don't see the gases be taken until you are certain that the Reaper has been dealt with and it can't go into Scout, right? Otherwise, the Reaper's going to know everything. So, yeah, he was waiting. He does throw a Roach Warren down at the front of the wall, so it does look like he's going Roaches, and we'll see if he opts to throw down a Spire, as he is only on 3 gases.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a tough ask. Reaper goes in, but doesn't live much behind that. So, Wonder, you know, he sees the Roach Warren and not much else.
Exactly. He does know that there's a lair, and it's so important that you spot that lair because it does indicate that here it is, a Nidus is on the way.
There we have it. Gonna be a good old Nidus Roach Warren. And gonna go into the Queens as well. This is gonna make sure that the army of GotQuail just has a lot of sustain. The SCV could have gotten the second scout off, but a very nice block coming in from GotQuail.
Yep, and there we go. The Nidus has been thrown down. Does he have vision of it? I don't think he does.
No, he does not. Right at this corner, where there's
no
vision to be had.
Yeah, and this could be it because the bunker is being thrown down at the natural. The tank isn't done yet either. Oh god.
And here we have it. Not a lot of army behind these queens though, but just the fact that, you know, there are 4 queens now in your base is going to be a bit tricky. The knight is going up into the natural as well.
Yeah, and right now he just needs to buy time for the tank to come out. The tank is what he needs to hold on to his main base, but even if it does come out, like, there are already Roaches and Queens here. There's plenty of energy for Transfuse.
Yeah, but a pretty good buffer being had here with the SCVs and with the Hellions. A lot more are starting to go down though, and I kind of feel like a lot of that it just goes down to friendly fire. Yeah. 21 SCVs have already gone down. I don't wonder. I think he's turned this around. Or not turned this around. Sorry, but you know, held this. But
yeah, like
what comes after this?
Yeah, with the help of his tank, he has been able to hold for now, but he's already lost so many workers. You can already see the huge worker disparity at the moment, and another Nidus is being thrown down outside the natural. Like Quail, he isn't letting up.
Yeah, he really is not. The Nidus in the main base is still alive as well, and is that a fresh tank? That is not a fresh tank. Wonder repositioned, thinking that the Nidus outside the natural was what he wanted to focus on, when that was not actually the case.
And now the tank isn't covering the production.
Yeah, the production is so exposed, and the tank is on the low ground right now, and there is vision, but you don't want to be on the low ground when you have a tank, do you?
Yeah, the add-ons are getting taken out as well. This will be the last tank for Wonder, and when it pops out, he needs to make sure that he gets it out of there. He does evacuate it. Nicely done. He is forced to lift up his buildings, but again, Quail, he's in such a good position here.
In fact, that he is, in fact, just going to be switching it up and getting a Spire now, because he knows he can afford it. Quail is, you know, he's going to have to get an expansion, but that might just be the least of his worries. Was that a drone coming out?
It was. It popped out and then it went back in. He's like, I shouldn't be here. But I love how...
see a hatchery taken here.
I love how Quail, he's spreading Creeper in the main base, making it more annoying to retake, or almost impossible to retake. Like, the amount of scans that would have to be used. And, the Bile's raining down on the tanks.
Yeah, when I'm already being taken out, the other tank can just really be focused fire down. Okay, the SCVs do come in, and they're helping out a lot, but 2 Ravagers still alive, and they do take the tank down to such low health. Not quite enough army here for GotQuail to take out the tank, but 1 more Bile should just about do it. Oh, not quite. The repairs are so good. The landed Vikings keeping Wonder alive, and he's lost a little bit more, but that was a much better hold than earlier.
Yeah, the problem is, what does he have to defend against the mutas that are on the way? Like, the mutas are immediately going to jump on the tank. There are 2 Vikings, and Vikings are okay against mutalists, but once there's a high enough count, like, Vikings just don't cut it. He needs something more, and his production is just in shambles.
Yeah, but it is only 2 mutalists coming out for the time being. GotQuail only now going to be getting his 3rd base. And I say only 2, but that was in production, as there were already 4 out on the map.
Yeah, he's just continuing to pump out more and more Mutalisks. We'll see how much this can get done. We'll see if maybe the Vikings are able to catch them off guard before they deal too much damage. And yeah, he's he already made he's already like trying to regain control of his main base as well. Meanwhile, Quail, he's taking his third, but to be fair, Quail's third base is pretty delayed, pretty late. So this isn't the worst position for Wonder as long as he's able to deal with these Mutalisks.
And that's definitely a bit of an ask. Two Vikings are still around, but honestly, I feel like Mutas are fast enough that they can just zoom behind the middle line and take out as many units as they possibly can before they really have to start worrying.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, a couple of Mutalisks are going down. There are Marines to support the Vikings as well, and yeah, 6 SCVs go down. It's not the worst, and ooh, a counter drop.
Yeah, very nicely done here by Wonder. There's just not a whole lot of defenses out here, and he's relying on these roaches, and that's not exactly the most reliable unit to defend. But here we have it. The medevac is out of energy, and these drones are going to be enough to take out this drop. And once more, these Mutalisks are getting a lot of damage done, preventing at least one of these turrets from going up. And the other turret, that's just kind of, that's acting as a little bit of a just as a buffet here for the Mutalisks.
Yeah, 18 more SCVs go down. The Mutalisks have more than paid for themselves, and more Mutalisks are on the way as well. And like again,
Jesus, look at the army supply, or just the supply in general.
Yeah. Here comes the snowball effect. Like the Mutalisks have done enough damage. Like the anti-air just keeps getting hindered over and over again for Wonder. And now with this next push, I didn't even notice as well, but he also lost his tank to the Mutalisks. So this follow-up push, this could be the end for our Terran player.
It's definitely looking like it. He only has one medevac with no energy, 3 Marines that are about to be taken out, and he's facing the world right now, basically.
That he is. He stims. He's trying the best he can.
And there you have it. Not quite a reverse sweep, but pretty dang close. GotQuail, your Canadian Zerg player representing all inspiration, is going to be your 2020 NA Contender Season 3 champion.
And just like that, back-to-back, Canada takes it. Canada won Season 2, and they've also won here in Season 3. Just coming out of left field, the Canadians, even though there was only one Canadian in the playoffs, he made it all the way to the finals. And
cannibalized each other.
Yeah, they knocked each other out. And yeah, he was able to make it all the way and win the entire thing.
That he was. And what a way to end it, like.
Yeah,
that was especially a very ballsy move on Golden Wall.
Yeah, definitely. Like, not just on Golden Wall, but that series, honestly, it was looking incredibly one-sided. There was a point where Wonder was up 3-1 in this best of 7. He just needed one more win, and that was it. And Quail, he was undeterred. He looked at that score, and he said, no, I'm coming back in this. And he did. He was able to claw himself back in.
He was a little undeterred, but at the same time, once Wonder got to match point, I feel like GotQuail took a couple more risks.
Oh yeah, definitely. He I don't think he played a single like full-on macro game. Really, he went for these all-ins. He went for these like fast spires as well, these early pushes, and yeah, it worked out for him incredibly well. And yeah, just GG, well played.
GG's all around.
I still question the way he played out game number 1. That mass, that Hydra Viper style. I feel like, honestly, that may just be how he plays like late game, and maybe that's that's why he opted to go for like more all-in styles as the series progressed. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. Absolutely was.
It's kind of funny how the playstyles progress as the series went on, isn't it?
Yeah. It was great. We had a lot of variety today.
Yeah. Both a Canadian and an American. Two Americans, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, definitely. And GG, well played. It was great that the finals went all the way to the ace match, all the way to game 7. That's exactly what you want, especially in a ZBT. And yeah, again, it's Canada. They're really representing in NA Contender.
Yeah, they really are.
And I know you had your American bandana ready, but
I'll get the maple syrup light.
Yeah, gotta get the maple syrup out, and we really need a command for it. Hold on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was kind of thinking, should I do anything if GotQuail wins? I'm like, nah, just copy paste what happened last season of NA Contender.
Yep, I'm just looking it up. I don't know why it isn't your pinned tweet. God damn it, Yaku.
You have to scroll through all them retweets.
Yep, that's exactly. Here it is. For people in the chat who are new to NA Contender and weren't here for season 2, which we did cast a couple of months ago, this is what Yaku did when Canada won. It's beautiful.
Yeah, when we were confirmed in all Canada finals, I was like, all right.
Yep. I did just link it in the chat. It's beautiful to see. It's amazing. Once again, Canada takes the win.
G to the G, and yeah, I don't even remember how many times we've had an All America finals in NA Contender, and now Canada's really fighting back in 2020.
Yeah, 2020, the year of Canada. I mean, it probably helps it. Of course, what was it? Canada Day. Canada Day was yesterday.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Canada Day was yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. And again, congratulations to the players. Of course, we actually didn't really get to mention it, but !Matcherino in the chat if you do want to support this tournament. I believe all the codes have already been used up. But
they were used up like a week ago, or more than that. Like 2 weeks into NA Contender already, just because of all the passion.
Yeah. But if you do wish to, you can just support the tournament regardless. Something else is, this is done by NA Apprentice. I say NA Apprentice. This is done by Sugar. Sugar, of course, he is kind of almost the Darking of NA. Like he runs a lot of tournaments for North America. He really wants the scene to do well, and he really wants to support it. He runs NA Apprentice, which is kind of like GSL but for NA players. He also runs NA Apprentice Cups, which is like a bi-weekly tournament restricted to US and Canadian residents and citizens. And he also runs NA Contender for more amateur players. So he really, he's really trying to do a lot for the scene. So really do support him if you can, and support, his tournament series, which is NA Apprentice.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. Although I guess I could say that NA Apprentice will also be covered, but it will not be covered by us. Kriton is still covering it, I believe.
Yes, I believe he should still be covering it. I'm not sure if he still is.
I feel like there's a couple of scheduling conflicts there.
Yeah, there may be, as of course, just like us, we've also been busy with a lot of streams, with DreamHack and whatnot. So yeah, this was NA Contender, which is limited to players who are 5.2k MMR or lower. NA Apprentice is, it's open to GMs. So that's where players like Silky, Cuddle Bear, Jehefe, Pili Pili, Nina, all these guys play in NA Apprentice. So if you do want to tune into that, it should be covered by Creighton in a couple of days. I imagine he's going to cast. Just keep an eye on social media or Team Liquid if you want to stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and again, congratulations to these North American players.
I'm again, I just don't have much to add behind that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long season. I don't know if you have anything to say about it. Like, there's been ups, there's been downs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that we come in to the finals, and again, we had couple of technical issues here and there just throughout the season, but finally here, it's all good.
Yeah, it's really nice that we had a nice way to end off.
I still want to cast this run of 8 games, to be honest with you, Light. But yeah, Blizzard, if you could ever get on that.
Yeah, for those wondering, a couple of weeks ago we went live with the round of 8 with the quarterfinals, and unfortunately we could only cast one series because the rest, all the replays were broken. They wouldn't work because of Blizzard's patch. Blizzard's patch broke all the historic replays, all the older replays. So yeah, we couldn't cast them.
I think it was just specifically that one patch.
Yes,
because older replays still worked, and of course the newer replays always work. But that one specific patch,
that lasted a week. Nope. Yeah, this one time period of patch just didn't work, unfortunately. So yeah, those replays are lost to time. But yeah, again, we've made it through to the end, and unfortunately there was a walkover, as you can see in the semis. So we only casted 2 series today, but they were great series.
That they were. We're gonna be closing. We're gonna just about be closing it off today, but as a final reminder, we will be live tomorrow with the Master Swan Open at 7 p.m. KST. You can take a look at it here on the schedule. That is the tournament that we run, open to anyone below 4.9k MMR and below. So if that piques your interest, do come on in. We would love to have you.
Yeah, it's open to all regions. It's just that the time that it is starting is pretty favored towards Southeast Asia and Korea. So we do have a couple of players from NA and from like Latin America, but yeah, it's at pretty bad times for them. They either stay up really late or they wake up really early. So you know they are really passionate, really committed. We really appreciate it. But yeah, it's if you are from that area, that region, then it is at a pretty rough time. But you're more than welcome to play regardless.
Yeah. And with that, I think we've just about run out of things to outro.
Yeah. With that, Yaku, where can people find more of you?
Twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1 may or may not stream next week. Don't I ain't holding anything. Twitter.com at Empora Yakuzaku !Discord. Brings you to the CranKy Ducklings Discord server, where you can find me and the other members of CranKy. Other than that, buy my shirts. Where can we find you, Light?
Yeah, Light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter if you want to follow me there. I have been streaming, with my ladder sessions occasionally. Like during the week, I do have a bit of free time. I've been practicing ready for my Centuri series, which is actually tomorrow morning. So yeah, I'm going to be playing in that with Claire, representing our team, of course.
Alpha Ducks.
Yeah, the Alpha Ducks, which is, of course, us partnering with Alpha X. So Alpha X and CranKy Ducklings have merged to turn into Alpha Ducks for that team league. So yeah, we are playing in that. So yeah, you can follow me there on Twitch or social media if you want to tune into more of that. But more importantly, do follow us here on the CranKy Ducklings Twitch channel, as we are live multiple times a week. You can look at our schedule. We've got something almost every single day. And yeah, if you're a fan of StarCraft, then hit that follow button if you enjoyed our cast.
Just one little quick click away. All right, we're done. Thank you all for watching. We will see you tomorrow.
Ciao.
Bella.